everybody. You are with us here on Lights Out Sports. Myself, Mike Ballantyne, and the guy that's got a little space between us today is my buddy Cheese. Now, we're going to leave this space here for just a second as an honor, because we're going to have a very special guest with us here in a moment, and his face will be popping up there in that space here in just a few moments. We'll get to him here shortly. First, let's make sure everybody knows that we are live. Right there it is. All right, Cheese, I haven't seen you in, I don't know, a few days. How you been, buddy? I know you're in a different location, I thought, but it looks like you're in the same location. What's going on there?
Yep, just still in Houston. So, yep.
Still in Houston. All right, here we go. Already got the comments up. I don't know. Everything is good, right, Cheese? Absolutely everything.
Things good. It's that time of year. Things are good.
Well,
it's Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve. Yes.
Yes.
The only thing that's not good is probably, DK Metcalf and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Other than that, everything is good. And by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, our buddy Cheese has got a brand new video up about that over on his channel. Go ahead and plug it right away, man. Come on.
It's at Football with Cheese. Cheese is spelled Cheez. And yeah, make sure you subscribe. Got a video on how stupid DK Metcalf was and how he may have ruined the Steelers season.
All right. So, as we're talking about subscribing and thumbs up and make sure you hit the bell for notifications and all of that stuff, you can do that right here. I mean, we're not to Cheese level yet. Lights Out Sports over on YouTube is getting close to 100 subscribers, but somebody on this screen is getting close to 1,000 over on his channel. So, yeah, he's a little ahead of us right now, but we'll try to catch up. We'll try to catch up. Okay, buddy. So, as you know, one of the big things that we do right away in the beginning, we do lots of things in the beginning. Here I am clicking on all these buttons and everything else, trying to get everything situated here. But one of the bigger things we're going to do here in a second is we're going to do, of course, the walk-up music, and then followed by the 5 Flamin' 5 in 5. Should be interesting. There is a Packer question this time. We'll get to all of that here in just a moment. But first, oh, look at this. You got a real fan here. We'll be in Green Bay this Saturday. Go Pack.
It's going to be nice and warm, I bet.
I'm sure that it will be.
I just hope they have a quarterback.
Game in Arizona with a blanket on. So, yeah. That's how cold it's going to be. It's going to make me put a blanket on.
Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead and look it up. Tell us exactly how cold it's going to be.
So, what's today? Okay, well, it's 20 there right now.
Tuesday, sir.
Thank you.
Podcast day.
You think I'd know?
Yeah.
So Saturday, the low is actually 30. The low, so that's like 70 degrees for me. But Sunday night, the game's Saturday night, not Sunday. Sunday night, the low is 9. So they lucked out with the temperature. They picked when they got flexed to Peacock only Saturday night, pissing off a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm good. I got Peacock. We'll still be able to watch it.
I'll watch it.
Right? Oh man, I'm just waiting for you to show me your Peacock. Anyway, yes. No. No. Too far.
Anyway, what we got next?
Well, I'll tell you what's next. The walk-up music. Let's do that before we get this show off the rails too much.
Are you
ready?
Go. 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, buddy, we've got a ton of stuff to get to here on this edition of the Lights Out Sports Podcast. It's going to be a special edition. As you can probably see, you're like, what is that huge space between those two? Are they mad at each other? No, we're not mad at each other. What? So we're leaving this big space in the middle for our guy with a big ego. We'll introduce him in a few moments. We'll bring him up as soon as we're done with the Five Flamin' Five in 5. We are going to do lots of different things today. Of course, we always do all kinds of stuff. And yes, I was trying to get it. And then, there was this problem over here. So we'll just go back to this. I'll explain it to you later. But we're going to look a lot about MLB. We're going to start off after the Five Flamin' 5 and 5 with the MLB segment for a change. We're really going to change it up. The NFL segment will be after that, and then we will conclude everything today with the college football spread offense, and I guarantee you guys will want to stay around for that. Then, if that isn't good enough for you, we'll go back to the NFL for our lights out list, of course, our version of the top 10, and we'll give you that after everything is said and done. Before we go off the air, Cheese, I'm really excited to do the top 10 NFL rookies. How about you?
I am too. It got kind of tough there because I had about 17 names written down originally, but I had to cut it to 10. So, yeah, I'm sure our list will be very different. They always are.
They always are. You're right about that. All right. So we got a couple of different things. Let's show them up here on the sides. There we go. Hello. How you doing?
Hi.
Yes. And
Hi.
Another high. Okay. We appreciate all the highs and the lows. We're good with that.
I like the highs better.
Do you like the highs better? Okay.
Someone should just post low. That's just the comment's just low.
Maybe. We'll see if somebody does it, but I doubt it very seriously, all right? Okay, so before we get going too far, let's get into our Five Flamin' 5 and 5. Of course, if you are new, here's what's about to happen. Poor Cheese over there getting himself ready, stretching himself out. He is going to have 5 questions. He's going to have a timer that has 5 minutes. And if he gets all 5 questions in those 5 minutes, then he won't burst into flames. But if he doesn't, something catastrophic is going to happen. We've never seen it because he's always gotten all 5 questions in that 5 minutes. So, are you ready, Cheese?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, I'm ready. Let's do this, he says. So, the flames will pop up on the screen and the timer will begin when I finish reading the first question. Here we go. Courtesy of Charm Sports. That's at Charm Sports. We'll plug all those people. We get a lot of stuff from these. And Cheese, one of these days you're going to figure out most of these questions just come from our feed on our Twitter account. But, hey, it's okay. You could get a head start on these. But quarterback Cam Ward, over his last 6 games, is 129 for 202. That's a 63.8% completion rate. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 90.3 passer rating with 1 touchdown. And he has 3 straight, with 1 rushing touchdown. Let me throw rushing in there. He has 3 straight games now with at least 2 touchdown passes. And he has 2 straight games with over 100 passer rating. So the question is, now that you can kind of see that Cam Ward's getting better and better and better, and he's starting to kind of figure it out, Cheese, here's my question. Will Cam Ward ever lead Tennessee to an AFC South title? And why do you think so? Or why do you don't think so? Here we go.
God, that's tough because the division's gotten really hard all of a sudden. No one really expects Jacksonville to be this good. The Colts, if they had a quarterback, would be really good. Texans have been good for several years. So I'm going to say no because he'd have to play a long time because they're nowhere near those other 3 teams, despite him playing better. So I'll say no, he's not. Unless he becomes a franchise quarterback, he's there 10, 15 years, then probably just circumstance he will. But I'm going to say no.
All right, you're going to say no, and that's fine. Next, let's move on. Oh, you're going to love this question. I can just feel it coming now. Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has the most Pro Bowl votes of any player in the league for the second, what are you rolling your eyes for? For the second consecutive year. In fact, you ready for this number? He has 157,000 more votes than any other player. So, Cheese, should fan voting be taken away, or should the Pro Bowl just be forgotten?
The Pro Bowl should just be forgotten. It's not even a game anymore. I haven't watched. Last time I watched it, I think Marshall Faulk was in it. Let's put it that way. No one cares about it. They don't even do a game anymore because they're worried about injuries. So I don't know. Coaches and players should just vote. They should name them, and that's that. Don't even have a Pro Bowl. And if you don't, anyone watching, you don't know why he won the last 2 years. It's because he's dating Taylor Swift. Her fans are voting. Travis Swift Kelce, that's his name. Travis Swifty. He has not been nearly as good the last 2 years in the rest of his career. He shouldn't be a top 5 tight end probably in the voting. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So you sound like you're a little upset with the results.
It's just stupid.
Okay. All right,
Zay Flowers of the Ravens made it. He has 2 touchdowns and 3 fumbles this year.
You should give big stats when we're trying to get you closed out within 5 minutes, all right? You're going to get me all wigged out over here.
I kind of want to burn in flames. This is fun.
Okay. According to On3 Sports, Brett
fun.
McMurphy, I want to make sure I give him his credit there, Brett McMurphy. According to, he is on 3 Sports, Ohio State coach Ryan Day says he will take over the play calling with OC Brian Hartline now being the new head coach of USF. Will this have any negative consequences for the Buckeyes moving forward?
I think the main thing it might hurt is the wide receiver recruiting. He was outstanding at getting the best receivers. They've had the best receiving core for several years in a row in the country. So that's what my reaction to that was, is it going to hurt the wide receiver recruiting? I don't know. I don't know much about Ryan Day's play calling, but I can't imagine it would be like just big drop off. The only thing it might hurt is Day. It might, a lot of times when you're doing the play calls, it takes away from coaching decisions late in games, especially distracts. So I don't think it'll be a big deal though.
All right, so we're going to save the Packer question for last, and we're going to give you this question. According to Mike Kennedy, another guy that we follow at Mike Kennedy, of course, Brett McMurphy we follow, and Sharm Sports, all of those places that we follow, we've gotten these questions from. Now, going back to Mike Kennedy, he says the Saints have used Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough as quarterbacks this season. Not real great. Yet, Chris Olave has 92 receptions. That's 5th in the league. He has 1,045 receiving yards. That's 6th in the league. And he has 8 receiving touchdowns, which is also tied for 6th in the league. Here's my question, Cheese. Should he be considered a top 5 receiver in the NFL?
I wouldn't go that far, but he's had all these concussion issues. If I drafted him on my fantasy team, I probably would have won. I would have won if Jared Goff would have thrown that touchdown at the end. But anyway, no, I don't think he's there. But he's getting there.
You got 30 seconds.
He was always really good, but top 15, but not top 5.
All right. Lastly, Packers quarterback Malik Willis is in the final year of his 4-year, $5.16 million rookie contract. Can Willis be a QB1 somewhere else in the NFL?
Average at best, probably slightly below average. He's great, real athletic, but consistent game-to-game passer. I don't think so. I think he's just more of a bridge if you draft a young guy. I don't ever think he becomes a franchise starter. No.
All right, you got it again, buddy.
Almost died.
Excellent job. I was a little worried there for a minute,
but
you got it.
This is fine. I'm in flames. This is fine.
Right. So a couple different things we got here. And, we kept saying that, we like highs and we like lows. And, we were hoping somebody would just do low. Thanks, Ricky. We appreciate it. He got us there.
There we go.
Low. Let's do another one. How about, we'll talk about them in the football segment.
We definitely going to talk about them. Yes.
Yes. All right. So let's get out of there a little bit, get off of that. Now that we've done the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5, I promised that we would be able to bring up our special guest. And we are going to do that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Red Hot Reds Sports Podcast right here on All Gloves Off Sports Media, welcome, Ricky Logan.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, not a whole lot, brother. How about you?
Not a whole lot. Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you very much. We haven't said that to any of to each other or anything like that. So
happy holidays
for the rest of us.
All right, Ricky. So I know you're over there on your own, doing your own thing. Tell us a little bit about you, about Roger, and the Red Hot Reds Sports Podcast, bud.
Yeah, Roger and I host the Red Hot Reds Podcast. We talk Reds baseball, minor league baseball. If any guys are in any winter leagues, we really dive deep into the prospects. I think that's kind of a forgotten territory when it comes to team podcasting, I guess, especially with baseball, because there's so many different levels with it. And then I write for Sports Illustrated over at CincinnatiRedsTalk.com. I do a lot of minor league content on there. Any news that anybody else can't really get to, I'll get on there too as well. But other than that, just trying to stay busy.
All right. Now I don't know about this, buddy, because nobody said for you to brag about how you're writing and everything else. All I said was, Red Hot Reds Podcast, man. Don't be jumping ahead here, okay? This isn't a crazy show like over there, the Red Hot Reds or anything, right? Yeah, I'm not sure what all of that is, but I don't know.
A lot of highs.
I guess.
A lot of highs.
All right, so we're jumping here to our baseball topic, but we can't do that before we give us the good music, right? So that's the first thing we got to do. Let's do the music and let's make it official by changing the background so that we can now jump into MLB 4-Pitch Talk. Ricky, you're about to find yourself in a bunch of fire. All right, there we go. Let's reduce that down a little bit into the background as we fade off into it. We love to call this show the Lights Out Sports Podcast, and we like to call this segment the MLB 4-Pitch Talk. And I know you guys are like, wait a minute. We never start off with baseball first. That's right. But today's a special day because we've got our buddy Ricky Logan with us from the Red Hot Reds Podcast. He's going to add a lot to our MLB 4-Pitch Talk. And here we go, gentlemen. Question number 1. Which of these 4 is the biggest move for the receiving team? So the team that gets the player, which one of these is the biggest for that team? A, Jeff McNeil going to the A's. B, the Red Sox in their trade for Wilson Contreras, where they received $8 million as well. The Orioles trade for Shane Baz, or the Pirates trade for Brandon Lowe. All right, let me give these 4 to you again. Ricky, since you're the guest, I'll start with you, and I'll ask you which one of these 4 is the biggest move for the team receiving the player. So is this the biggest move for the A's as they receive Jeff McNeil, for the Red Sox as they get Wilson Contreras, for the Orioles getting Shane Baz, or for the Pirates getting Brandon Lowe? So which one, buddy, do you think is the most out of those 4?
Originally, I was going to go with the Orioles because of how much they've added to their lineup, and now that they're adding a possible number 3 starter to their rotation. But I've had a sneaky hot take that the Pirates could be really a strong consideration for the playoffs next season with the moves that they've been aggressive trying to get and the moves that they've made so far. So Brandon Lowe is an all-star. He's really, really good player. there's not a whole lot of negatives. I was rumors about the Reds potentially being involved in trades for him.
Mhm.
And the sneaky part of the deal is Jake Magnum, that they got the prospect as well. He was a rookie last year. He had 296, 18 doubles, 40 RBIs, and 27 stolen bases. So adding that to Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz, if he can put it together, and their catcher, and who's Henry Davis, their former number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
And you have the reigning Cy Young winner and another really good frontline starter. Like they have all the pieces if they can just somehow put it together. I really like the Pirates trade a lot.
All right. So, Cheese, do you need those 4 given to you again, buddy, or do you know which one you're going to choose?
I'm definitely not picking Wilson Contreras, that's for sure. No, I'm going to go with Brandon Lowe as well. Shane Baz, they just way overpaid for him, in my opinion. They paid on like maybe his talent, but not his production. So good move for the Rays. But the Pirates needed power. They needed left-handed power, and they've got that. The only weakness Lowe has, to me, is just he don't walk enough. He has a low walk rate, but yeah, the Pirates have improved their left-handed power tremendously this offseason. So they should score a lot more runs. There were games they just could not score runs, and I agree with Ricky. They're going to be better. And one of the reasons they're going to be better is because the Cardinals are going to suck. So they get to play the Cardinals 12 times.
All right. Well, I might surprise both of you because I am not going with that. Man, I'm going to applaud the Oakland A's for a change. And I'm not sure if I've ever said that on any podcast I've ever been on in my life. But I like what they're doing here. They bring in a veteran guy, number 1. Number 2, they bring in a guy. That team has got lots of power, with Brett Rooker and you got some of the kids that they've got with a bunch of power. And McNeil is going to be the perfect guy to put at second base for them and to put probably second in the lineup as well, being able to get on in front of those big boppers. And they're starting to do an actual lineup. I have toyed with the idea before, Cheese and Ricky both, of kind of doing something like that on one of these shows. Like, okay, how do you build a lineup? Let's do it and look at it from a general manager perspective or from a manager perspective and build a lineup. Man, with what the A's are doing right now, they're building themselves a really good lineup. And Jeff McNeil is going to be a big part of that, actually. So I'm going to applaud the Oakland A's.
Nick Kurtz might be one of the best hitters in baseball, period. And he's a rookie. He's incredible. So, yeah.
Don't forget about Lawrence Butler as well. He's a stud outfielder.
Yep.
Hit 4 home runs against the Reds 2024 season. He hit 3 in 1 game.
You're not going to forget that.
Got to get a Reds plug in there somehow, don't you?
I have to.
I even like their catcher, Shea Langoliers, as well. Then you got Tyler. And,
what is it? What's his
name? Tyler
name?
Swordstrom.
There you go. I was going to say Stevenson, but I knew that wasn't right, and I don't want to give your Reds another plug, for God's sake.
And that other rookie they had.
Former Red Austin Wynns.
What's his name?
Jacob Wilson.
Jacob Wilson. Yes, Jacob Wilson. He's incredible, too. They have so many good young bats. Absolutely.
Yep.
Just hoping the Vegas thing falls through.
Why are you hoping it falls through?
I'm from Sacramento. I want him to stay up there.
Oh, okay.
Well,
maybe we'll have to do that this year. We'll all have to get together and go to Sacramento, and they're I think got this season and next season, I believe. But yeah. I tell you what, though, that new stadium in Las Vegas looks pretty slick.
Yeah, it really looks pretty awesome.
So I want to go there too when it gets done. But anyway, so we talked about the biggest move. So like when you snatch the guy off of free agency, let's talk about most important signings here. We'll give you 4 of those, and we'll look and see which one you guys think is the most important there as well. So is the most important signing Luke Weaver, $22 million 2-year deal with the Mets. The Mariners signing Rob Refsnyder, and all these have happened in like the last week, to a 1-year, $6.5 million contract, and he also has the contract with $250,000 in incentives. The Padres have signed Sung Mun Song, I believe is how you say it, to a 4-year, $15 million contract. And then, of course, the White Sox signing of Oh my gosh. Here we go. Munetaka
Murakami.
Makanama.
Munetaka Murakami.
Yeah,
Murakami,
that. Yeah, that. Good job, Ricky.
I tried.
I'm not even going to read these back because I don't think I can pronounce half the people that are on this list. So we got Luke, you got Rob, you got Sung, and you got the other guy. Yeah, that guy. Ricky, I'm going to start with you again since you're the guest. We'll give you both questions in the beginning. Which one do you think is the most important as far as signings for these clubs?
I think I'm gonna lean towards the Mariners signing Rob Refsnyder. A good right-handed hitter against lefties. They ended up keeping Naylor. I think there's still potential for them to bring back Suarez, although I haven't heard any rumors about where he's even leaning towards or what his contract looks like. But you take a team that struggled. If they did struggle at anything, it was probably that category. They have really good pitching. They've got arguably, I think, what should have been the MVP in Cal Raleigh. And you added Naylor at the deadline. They extend him. You know, I think adding Refsnyder for this 1 year deal, I think it's a really good pickup for them. I think that's probably, in my opinion, the most important one. I was thinking Luke Weaver, but the Mets have this weird trend of just signing former Yankees. Like it's like they go get Juan Soto, they go get now him. It's weird. But yeah, I like Rob Refsnyder.
Yeah, and he's great against lefties off the bench. So
yeah.
To be honest, I'll give your Reds a plug here. I was hoping the Reds were going to sign Refsnyder because I thought maybe he would be a cheap enough guy to where they can kind of plug him as their fourth, fifth outfielder.
He's not a line drive hitter. He doesn't fit Nick Krall's mold.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so Cheese, I don't know if you listen to the podcast a whole lot over there, but that's a shot. That's a shot. So you know, across
you gotta
the
have
bows
good
there.
at bats and line drive approach. You'll hit 25 home runs if you do that.
Right. We can't be doing that.
Although no one's done that in the last 3 years.
That's because Ellie was hurt. You know, he played with a strained quad for like half the season.
Ellie's the only player in the last 3 years to have 25 home runs, and he hit exactly 25 2 years ago.
All right. So, Cheese, I'm going to pose the same question. Which one's the most important? Weaver, Refsnyder, Sung, or the guy from Japan?
That's funny. I wanted the Braves to sign Refsnyder and trade Profar and platoon him with what's the left-hander they just signed? He's like the grandson of a famous player. I can't. Yastrzemski.
Yeah.
I was hoping that the Braves would sign him, but yeah, get Profar out of there. But anyway, but I'm going to go with Murakami just because he was projected to get over $100 million. He is one of the best hitters in Japan. I think there are two things that scare teams off: is he has a really high strikeout rate, and it's probably a first base DH only. He played third base in Japan, but apparently was bad. So the White Sox, 2 years, $34 million, have a chance. I mean, he could absolutely rake, and he's only 25, I believe. So they may have gotten the steal of the offseason. If he just eats, they could either extend him, or if they're terrible, which they probably will be, they could probably get a ton for him in a trade. So that is definitely 2 years, $34 million for his upside. I think it was a tremendous move.
I got to go with something different. I can't go with either one of those two, but I'm gonna go with our Padres guys over there. I like this. I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but I like the Sung Mun Song contract mainly because of its length and its cost. It's only 4 years, $15 million. He hit really well over in. Should have hit the wrong button. It scared me for a second. I thought I lost everything. So he hit really well over in, I believe it was the Korean League. I had some notes pulled up, and I don't know, they fell on the floor or something. I don't know. I'm all miscombobulated over here today. But the contract is the big thing. I mean, none of these other contracts even came close. Luke Weaver's going to sign for 2 and 22, and they got a really good infielder for a nice, cheaper 4-year contract. So I'll give it to San Diego. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, but I think that could really pay dividends for them down the road. Let's move on to our third question here. And I'm going to ask Cheese first because I kind of already know what his reaction is going to be here. We've talked about this a little bit in the past. Ricky, I'm going to tell you, you've got to come in strong on this one. Cheese, are you excited for the World Baseball Classic?
No, not at all. It's stupid.
Wow. Ricky, can you bail us out of this hole, please?
I am very excited about the World Baseball Classic.
Would you like to elaborate, or are we just going to sound like just a bunch of puds over here? I mean, what are we doing here, guys?
No, it's the Olympics for baseball, is what it is. You put the best players in the world against each other in a short little tournament, and you're playing for your colors, and that would be like, it's nothing like the Pro Bowl in the NFL. There's really no other event in any pro sports that really compares, other than what the NBA used to have with the rookies, where it was like the USA versus world. But this is totally different. I love it. If you would have had Roger on, he'd be even more excited.
Well, Roger didn't email me like you did and said, "Hey, I'm free," and I was like, "Oh, well, okay, let's do it." So, Ricky, I'm going to stick with you a second because that other guy over there in the corner doesn't like this stuff at all. But what does the team still need to add? If you look at the notes, I put all the position players and the pitchers up there. What does the team still need to add in order to be a viable contender in your mind?
Well, I saw where I think Pete Alonso hasn't really confirmed himself playing yet. That would be a good first base depth behind Bryce Harper.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Witt, your starting shortstop. It'd be really cool if you can get somebody like why am I drawing a blank on his name? Skip me on that one. But
Jacob Wilson would be cool.
Yeah,
Jacob Wilson would be cool. You're right.
Yeah, it would be that'd be a really good.
Listen to the guy over there in the corner that doesn't like the World Baseball. See, we're going to get you to liking this thing before this segment's all said and done.
Yeah, do you want me to tell you what I think of the World Baseball Classic?
No, I really don't, because I don't want our fans to just up and tune away. Okay, we've only got a few. All right, don't chase them away.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking to add anybody, like as far as pitchers, I think their rotation's top notch. But if you could add a guy like Hunter Green or somebody of that caliber as well. But I know Jacob deGrom's probably not going to play. He's coming off a couple Tommy Johns. Mm-hmm. Hunter Green probably not going to do it just because of the recent injury history with him. And Mike Trout, I know he struggled with health over his career, but he is still one of the greatest players of our generation right now. And I think he would just enjoy playing for the colors as well.
Now you can understand though, right, Ricky? And Cheese, I'll ask you the same question here in a second, but you can understand if the player is injured or has had injury problems in the past, why they would go, no, I don't care if this is for your country. I don't care if you do want to wear that uniform. You wear our uniform first, right? Cheese, can you understand the team saying, no, you're not playing for the World Baseball Classic?
Yes, that's absolutely. If I owned a team or was a manager of a team, I wouldn't want any of my players there. I want them in spring training. I want, especially the pitchers, I want them controlled. I want them building their arms up as they go. I don't think it's like the Olympics personally. I think it happens before the season. So USA probably, I don't even know if they've ever won, probably will never win because it's just before the season. They're not in shape, like baseball shape yet. So I think it's stupid. I care about Major League Baseball. I care about winning World Series. I just don't think it's worth it. And I have not. Last time I watched it, Javi Baez was playing for Puerto Rico. He was still a Cub. And I got about 3 or 4 innings in. I watched it to watch Javi. And I was like, why am I doing this? And I turned it off. I haven't watched it since.
So here's somebody that agrees with you. Sam, 9010, says the World Baseball Classic has got to go. So you're not the only one, Cheese. You're just the loudest one. That's all.
So the U.S. has won. They won in 2017.
Yeah, so take that, Cheese.
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't watch it.
Japan won in 2006, 2009, and the last one in 23.
It's because I think it's the middle of their season, right?
It's close. Well, so how I view it is if your player can ramp up pre-spring training, I think you can go into the season hot, but you run the risk of cooling down at the end of the year faster. But
Which
I
hurts
think
your team instead of, who cares about the baseball classic if it hurts your team, right?
yeah. But I love it. I like it. It's a short event. It's only a few days. It's not like it's a month. But
Yeah, it goes from March the 5th to March the 17th this year.
But don't you think that gives Japan an advantage? Their season's going, they're just in rhythm. Like especially some of these bats, it takes some people like they don't need hit till like May or June. So I just think it's a huge advantage for Japan. So I think the timing of it. I mean, Major League Baseball would never do this, but it'd be better for baseball if they just like started like June 1st and did it then.
So Roger and I had a take at the end of our last episode where we had mentioned doing the World Baseball Classic either during the All-Star break as like a week-long event instead of having like the All-Star game. Just give like the teams like 2 weeks off, have 1 week in there of games, and then you go back into the season. Or what he had mentioned was doing it after the World Series, immediately after the World Series.
Yeah, I don't mind either one of those. I'm not sure if I want to do a 2-week break in between there because the people who aren't going to participate in that are going to have to do something for 2 weeks to keep themselves amped up. But I understand what he's talking about, and I kind of like the ending. But the problem is it's the World Baseball Classic, and it's not just the USA Baseball Classic. So we got to kind of compromise with everybody else. And right at the moment, it's not in the best interest for us, but it seems to be in the best interest for most of the other teams. So USA is just kind of compromised on that part.
I agree.
All right, let me go over the rosters here real fast. So you got Garrett Clevenger, Garrett Whitlock, Griffin Jacks, Mason Miller for your relievers. The starters are Chicago Cubs' own Matthew Boyd, Clay Holmes from the Mets. You got Nolan McLean from the Mets. You've got Joe Ryan from the Twins. Paul Skeens has said he's going to do it, and Tarek Skubal from the Detroit Tigers. Now, if you look at the hitters, no, go ahead, sir.
Having those two, that's really good. They're the two best pitchers in the world. So
yeah, you can line them up pretty much with anybody. But you're also going to have Shohei. You're going to have some other really good pitchers on some other teams as well. But
you got the Dodgers rotation pitching for Japan.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So looking at the hitters, you got Kyle Schwarber as the DH from the Phillies. You got another Cub in outfielder Pete Crow Armstrong. Diamondback has put his name in there, outfielder Corbin Carroll. Then you've got Aaron Judge for the first time putting his name in the hat. You got Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be the starting shortstop. Gunnar Henderson will be at third base. Bryce Terang from the Brewers will be at second. Bryce Harper announced earlier today that he will play for the World Baseball Classic in the colors of the red, white, and blue at first base. And then you've got two catchers, Will Smith of the Dodgers and Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners. So this leads me to my final question as we talk about the World Baseball Classic here. Ricky, I'll start with you. What player do you want to see on the WBC roster that's not there right now?
If I'm going pitcher, just being a homer, I'm going to go Hunter Green for the Reds. And just for being the sake of the player, I'm going to go Mike Trout in the outfield.
Okay. Cheese, what about you? What's the one player that might get you a little interested if he were to be in the World Baseball Classic this year?
Julio Franco.
That would probably
Barry
get people
Bonds.
interested, yes.
Julio Franco, you went to school with him, Mike, so you know him pretty well.
That's very true. He is old as well. Thanks for that one.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're on point today, sir. I'll give you that.
Okay. That's all.
So here we go. We got Sam 910 who's chiming in with us. Thank you very much, buddy. And I agree. You remember this, right? They lost Edwin Diaz for the year in the World Baseball Classic to the Mets. Mm-hmm. What'd you say, Ricky? I'm sorry.
He was celebrating. He wasn't even doing anything crazy. He was just celebrating.
Yeah.
What's wild about that injury.
We'll keep going with Sam here for a minute. So that destroyed our season. He's talking about the Mets. I would agree. So then he's also going with you guys, Ricky. You and Roger over on the Red Hot Reds podcast saying he'd rather have it during the All-Star break.
I think you could find a way to do it. You could find a way to either have the teams keep their players that aren't in the All-Star game ramped up, or you treat it like just give them a break, and then maybe they come back. It'd be like a true all-star break instead of like a weekend.
All right.
Is it every 4 years, the Classic?
The last one was in 23. I think it's every 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought it was three. Okay.
3. Okay. Yeah, I mean, doing a break in the middle of the season just once every 3 years, I don't think that's a big deal. I think some of the players are like it if they get even just a week and a half off, they can actually go on a vacation.
I think more players would volunteer for the Classic as well because they'd want to stay ramped up.
Yeah, and I think some players, let's say you play for the Reds, but you live somewhere else in the off season. By the time you fly, on Sunday and then you basically turn around, come back 3 days later. So
yeah.
Yeah, so now there you go, Cheese. That he's also with you. He could get rid of it entirely, and then he throws this out here, and I'll put this on the screen, and then we can talk about this for a second. Here, Sam 910 or 9010 is throwing some good ideas out here for us today. How about this one? Let the old timers play the World Baseball Classic.
We saw the Yankees. We saw the Yankees.
Yes, with
they had their old timers game, and Mariano Rivera tore his Achilles. I don't want to see it.
I didn't know that.
I would love to see
so
Barry Bonds at 53 years old just launching nukes. But
hey, knuckleball pitchers still probably effective at 70
R.A.
years old.
Dickey would probably still be elite.
Yeah.
Yep, I bet you're right. And then, I'm thinking Ken Griffey Jr. could still hit. And I mean, there would be a few people that I wouldn't mind. Chipper, right? What about Chipper?
I bet Frank Thomas could still hit it 450 feet.
Ozzie Guillen going to be the manager.
There you go. Ozzie Guillen will be the manager. Ozzie Guillen and Joe Torre. There we go.
Tony La Russa.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we'll really brush off the cobwebs and we'll bring some of those guys back. So
Jim Leland. And he's got to have the cigarette too.
Smoke them if you got them. All right, so I also wanted to look at a few things in the Central Division. Ricky and I are pretty big Reds fans, and if you guys don't know, Cheese is a pretty good Chicago Cubs fan. Now, they signed a catcher today, Betancourt. That really doesn't mean a whole lot, so we won't necessarily talk about that. But, Ricky, what about this trade that may or may not happen? Luis Robert Jr. is rumored to be possibly going to the Reds. Talk to me about that. Do you want this? Do you not want this? Do you want it under certain parameters?
The latter. The talent that he showed in 2023 is what you hope you get if you trade for him. That was obviously his best season. He won a Gold Glove. I think it was his rookie year in 2020, also the shortened season. But he's got a lot of talent. He's going to be expensive. I think he's owed $20 million this year.
Yes, that's correct.
And if I'm the Reds, I know they're really tight on budget, but if you could trade for him, and take on that, that's a good one.
If you don't know, Bobby Bonilla is still making money from the Mets. They deferred it to like 2031 or something.
Right.
Yeah, he's still got like 10 more years on that deal.
It's crazy.
That's gonna be Shohei Ohtani here in the future.
That is. We got to shout out Sam 9010 there. He's coming up with some good stuff today.
Yeah, he's a big Mets fan. He's a big Mets fan.
Yeah, going back to Luis Robert, if I'm the Reds, if I could find a way to take on his full contract and give up less to get him, I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing them, they're gonna need Chicago to take on some of the salary, so they're probably gonna have to give up a decent prospect. I'm looking at like Chase Petty or someone of that caliber, or if you can get the money the way you want it as the Reds, you could give up a lower end top 30 prospect or even outside of top 30 with a major league caliber player like Christian Encarnacion Strand, something like that. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been healthy in the last couple of years, but he really kind of turned it on towards the end of last season. And that gives me hope that if they were to make that trade, I think him not having Great American Ballpark's center field is relatively small compared to most ballparks, especially Chicago's. So I think there's a little bit less risk injury-wise, at least with physical contact injuries. But yeah, I mean, he's got the talent. He's going to hit 25 home runs, which the Reds haven't had. And he's going to take over center field. And then with that, you're moving TJ Friedel to left field, and that improves left field that we haven't had a good left fielder in the last couple of years as well.
Okay. I like it. I want to talk a little bit about Ketel Marte for a second. I'm going to bring it up to both of you here because, you guys are both teams in the Central Division with the Cubs and the Reds. I think that the Reds have what it would take to secure a Ketel Marte trade if they really wanted to. The Arizona Diamondbacks, who I know really well as well, being out here in Arizona, really want controllable pitching back. But they also want high-end controllable pitching, like AAA guys. To be honest, Cheese, you guys don't have a whole lot of that in the Cubs system. So
and the Cubs,
you would
what they do have, they're not trading pitching. So
okay, and you know what?
He's
I
not
agree
going to
with
be a
that.
Cub. He's not going to be a Cub. No way.
And that's
Bless
smart.
you.
Thank you.
Bless
I'm trying to hold it in and not kill the microphone there, but
I think all those texts you keep getting just making you sneeze.
that's what it is. You keep hearing that phone go off, don't you? I know.
Yes.
It's actually sitting kind of far away, and it's still
I keep
going
checking,
off.
make sure it's not me. It's not.
Nope, it's me. It's me over here. So, Ricky, I think that the Reds have what it takes. Now, I'm not going to want them to trade Hunter or Abbott or anything like that, but I think like you mentioned, Chase Petty. Maybe even a Rhett Lauder if you really want to trade somebody like that to get Ketel Marte, because he is an affordable offensive bat. And that's what the Reds need. They don't need an expensive offensive bat. We both know they need offense. They were 14th in the National League out of 15 teams. So they need offense. What would you say if they had to trade, let's say, 2 pitchers in the top 20 in order to get Ketel Marte? Are you still on board, or are you like, no, I don't want to trade that for him?
Well, I look at the pitchers that we have currently in our top 30, and a lot of them are rookie level pitchers other than Lauder and Chase Burns. And I'm not trading Chase Burns now.
What about Chase Petty though?
Chase Petty, I could see it because I think a change of scenery for him could benefit. And I think pitching in the NL West, other than pitching in Colorado X amount of times, is going to be a benefit to him as well, because more expensive ballparks, especially in LA and San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go by our top 30, I think our number 10 prospect that they drafted him this year, Aaron Watson, and he's out of high school, so you're not going to see him in the majors for at least probably 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And I just don't see who they would take on. I mean, the only pitcher I'm seeing on here is like Julian Aguilar. He made his debut in 23, but he missed all of 24 with Tommy John. Maybe someone like that. Brandon Williamson could be an arm you throw into.
Mm-hmm.
Major league caliber, missed all of last year, had Tommy John. He can be a really good left-handed pitcher. Other than that, you're looking at like Nick Lodolo, or I'm not moving on from Andrew Abbott, but Lodolo I could swallow only because I don't think they're going to re-sign him, and he's only got 1 more year after this coming season of team control.
And he's got the wrong agent too, by the way. Yeah,
and you're looking at a really good contract, especially if he pitches like he did this year, where he was actually healthy 99% of the season. So it's going to be a difficult trade. And what scares me with Marte is you're looking at a 32-year-old second baseman when you have Matt McClain, who is really good defensively, struggled offensively. I guess you can move him to center field if you're not going to trade for Luis Robert, but I would love the production of Ketel Marte. I just don't see the Reds giving up the prospects to get him.
Okay. I mean, you could do Aguilar, you could do a Chase Petty. You could also even do somebody like Graham Ashcraft or somebody like that in the bullpen, which, the Diamondbacks need their bullpen help as well. So, Cheese, I want to move this over to you. Nico Horner is a really good second baseman. Talk to me about what you would you include, and would you be okay including Nico Horner in a Ketel Marte trade if it were to come to fruition, which we probably don't think it will, but if it would, what's the difference between the Cubs, Nico Horner, and the Diamondbacks with Ketel Marte?
The Cubs need a middle order bat. They used Carson Kelly as their cleanup hitter more than anyone else last year, something like that. Yeah. That's not good. They really need that guy that can, hit 30 homers or whatever.
Right.
But Ketel Marte, he's just on a different level with the bat. I mean, twice he's just about been a 7-win player. Mm-hmm. He's very different. Nico Horner doesn't hit for power, but he hits for average. He's clutch, and he's won 2 Gold Gloves. He's elite defensive second baseman. I would prefer just try to extend Nico Horner. If you can extend him, I could see them listening for a trade. You don't want to just let him go for nothing. But I don't think a trade happens, because even if you trade Nico Horner for Marte, like you said, they're going to want like Jackson Wiggins or some, and they're not going to trade him. He's like if they're top 10 prospects, the only one that's a pitcher is Jackson Wiggins. They have no other. They love going bats early in the draft. So, and international signings. So they don't have the pitching to trade at all. If they're doing a trade, they're going to trade bats. They're going to trade like a Kevin Alcantara or Jefferson Rojas or someone like that. Mm-hmm. So
who are very good players. I mean, let's not knock the Cubs for those guys, right?
They're not top 50 prospects. They're not blue chip prospects. They're good prospects, but they're not like blue chip prospects. So
What do you think about Brandon Birdsell?
He was barely pitched last year. He's been injured. I think they would include him possibly. He probably was a top 10 prospect last year, but he's been hurt. I don't think he's got more than like number 4 starter, and maybe number 3 or 4, more of a number 4 starter. So I don't think that would be enough to include him. But he's just got to be healthy. He barely pitched last year.
All right.
I was just going through your top 30 just to see, just throwing out names.
I was going to say, listen, look at Ricky throwing out guys from the Cubs over here.
Give me someone else.
Grant Kipp.
Grant Kipp is I believe he's the Yale pitcher. No. Is that?
He's in Double-A currently. He's probably going to start in Triple-A.
Was he the Yale guy? Does it say there? They had an undrafted free agent from Yale that ended up just like being amazing in the lower level minors.
Let me see. I'll get his bio here.
We're doing the Chicago Cubs prospects here all of a sudden.
We could do this forever, so yeah.
Right? We really could. I mean, I know the Diamondback system and the Red system really well. I know Ricky knows the Red system better than I do. And then I know Cheese knows the
He is the Yale guy, by the way.
He is the Yale guy? Yeah, he was undrafted and just
6'6", 220.
Yeah, it just goes to rookie ball and like low A. They had low A at the time, and just was unbelievable and became a prospect. So he actually, a lot of Cubs writers thought he was going to be plucked in the Rule 5 draft. They were lucky that they left him, that no one plucked him. So, but he will have to be added to the 40-man roster next year if he has a good year.
All right, Sam, I see your take over here. Give me a minute. Well, we will get to it. I know it's a different topic. It is still a baseball topic. We'll throw it at our guys here in just a second. But let me wrap up the Central by asking this. The Pirates are making moves. We already talked about Brandon Lowe, right? Or I think that's actually Lau, but however you say it. And then they also just signed Ryan O'Hearn today to a 2-year contract. So here's what I want. I want to know who's going to finish last in the National League Central this year. Are the Pirates still going to finish last? Or are the St. Louis Cardinals going to take that mantra with trading all their people away? Cheese, I'll start with you. Who's going to finish last in the National League Central?
So we do it together.
He's over here counting down.
We can do it together. On 0 or on 3?
On 3.
Okay.
Cardinals.
I hope it's the Brewers. I hope it's
the Brewers too. I'm tired of their voodoo magic.
No, the Cardinals are going to stink. They're still trying to trade away even more players. They should have done a rebuild 2 years ago. They're not very good with these players, so I think it's going to be significant. Look, let's be honest. Brewers, Cubs, Reds all made the postseason. Pirates are much improved, so they could be way behind anyone else.
Well, but it's also got the possibility to be a really interesting division if it keeps going like it's going here with the Pirates signing some people. What if the Reds do trade for Luis Robert Jr. or Ketel Marte or somebody? And man, it's really got the magic there because the Cubs lost Tucker, and are they going to replace him with another bat? And then there's some interesting things happening. The Brewers look like they're probably going to trade one of their starters, so everybody's going to kind of come up. Some people are going to come up, some are going to come down, and everybody's just going to kind of meet in the middle there. So it could be a really interesting season for the National League Central. Let's go with Sam 910 real quick here. He's asking a very long question. He's gone to the me school of asking questions here. So different topic, but now that we are outside of the steroid era, which I'm not sure if we are, but okay, we'll go with it, is 500 home runs still enough for the Hall of Fame? If yes, when Stanton hits 500 in a couple years from now, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? So I guess the question is more of, does Stanton belong in the Hall of Fame when he hits his 500th or greater home run? Cheese, what do you think? Stanton in the Hall of Fame after 500 home runs?
I have a Mike Stanton baseball card somewhere, by the way. He went by Mike Stanton when he came up. I have it somewhere in a box, but he's tough. He was so good when he was with Florida or Miami. They changed to Miami. He was so good. He's just been injured. He just hasn't been nearly as good. Oh, man. He has 453 home runs. That is tough. I mean, if he hits 500, I guess he's probably going to get there, but I don't think he'll be first ballot.
Ricky?
Yeah, I want to throw another name out for you, too. Just to be a throwback Reds. Adam Dunn hit 462 home runs. And he was your prototypical 3-outcome guy. Home run, strikeout. Maybe walked, but it was a lot of intentional walks. He led the league in strikeouts, believe it or not, only 4 times. So everyone says he's a strikeout guy, he's terrible, but he only led the league in strikeouts 4 times.
I mean, he's not Joey Gallo, but he's pretty close.
No, but he's got a career. To me, Adam Dunn. I'll get to Stanton here in a second. I'm going to get to my Adam Dunn take. Adam Dunn is a career 124 OPS plus, which OPS plus 100 your baseline. He was over his career 24% above league average as a hitter. Kind of underrated. I don't think he gets talked about as much. And getting that close to 500 home runs for Dunn. I mean, you could make the argument, but he's not going to be a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Very Good. I don't know if you guys follow that Twitter page or Instagram page. The Hall of Very Good's a very good page to follow. I'll shout them out. But yeah, Giancarlo Stanton. I believe it or not, I have 2 jerseys that are non-Reds players. I have a Giancarlo Stanton jersey from when they turned to Miami, and I have a Mike Trout jersey. Giancarlo Stanton, to me, is the most fun swing to watch from the right-handed side of this generation. He hits the ball with so much power, and it looks effortless. Mm-hmm. I think with the steroid era, I mean, you could kind of say it kind of closed out for the majority around 2009-ish. You still had some guys here and there testing positive, like A-Rod a couple times. Robinson Cano tested positive. But I think 500 is still enough. And honestly, I think getting out of the steroid era, I think you could drop that number down to like 450. I think if you could see a guy hitting 450 home runs getting in the Hall of Fame, just depending on their overall production.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if we do one stat anymore. I think because we have so many stats available to us, we want a player who is really good in multiple things because, we've got 30 or 50 different stat categories now. So if he's just good and only one, we look at the rest of them and go, no, he's not good enough. Cheese, what do you think? I know I kind of jumped in there before you did, but go ahead.
No, but I just want to talk about Adam Dunn. He would be probably better chance if he's in this era.
Yeah,
because
if he was in today's era, he'd be a top of the line contract guy. He would be getting.
He'd be like he's a similar player to Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber,
yeah.
He's very similar player, and now this era,
with the DH in the National League, I mean, it's everything
DH,
about it, yeah.
Yeah, he would be thought of higher if he was in this era. And then another thing you mentioned a few minutes back. You said you don't want to trade Andrew Abbott. I would not trade Andrew Abbott if I were them because I watched him pitch, he played the Cubs twice this year, and they couldn't do anything in either game. I still remember. I'm like, who is this guy? They cannot hit him. He completely shut down the Cubs twice this year. So yeah, I would not trade him.
He did kind of come out of nowhere. Nobody really saw him coming. I don't even think most Reds fans saw Andrew Abbott coming.
I think
it was a second round pick. He
Yeah.
was a reliever in college, so he
Mm-hmm.
didn't really start much.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was 2022 he kind of transitioned into a starter. And 2023 is when he debuted, and I think in the summer around July, he debuted after Ellie did. And he had a career high in innings like halfway through the season. So he's had, like, notoriously, he's been a really fast starter. Like statistically wise, like his ERA's always been below 2 up until about July. And then when he hits that wall in August and September, his ERA balloons up to like 6. Well, this year he kept his ERA below 4 in August and September. So he figured it out stamina wise.
All right, sounds good, Ricky. Now I know you don't have to go yet, because I can tell you we're going to transition here in a second into football, and the first couple of things are going to have to do with the Bengals. So if you want to hang tight, you can. I know you didn't get those notes because I only sent you mine, but it's up to you, buddy. I will tell all of our fans that are with us here, we're going to talk about the college football playoffs here when we get to our college football spread offense with third segment. We're going to talk about James Madison. We're going to talk about Tulane. We're going to look at the upcoming bowl games that are coming up between now and the next time we do this podcast. And then we're also going to talk Notre Dame. So we're going to do all of that here in just a few moments as well. So, Ricky, man, we certainly appreciate you being on here. Before we wrap up the baseball stuff, though, you just had a podcast on Sunday. Tell us what you guys did on Sunday, because it was pretty interesting. I'm not going to tell you I watched all of it because that'd be a lie, but I watched most of it.
Yeah, we broke down the top 10 moments of the Reds season. I've been kind of posting videos on X too, just kind of highlighting some things and projecting towards next year. I saw a tweet that our number one play was Noelvi Marte's basically season-saving catch against the Pirates, where he robbed a home run. It's funny, if he doesn't make that catch, they get swept by the Pirates and they don't make the playoffs. But someone had mentioned that, is that the greatest catch in Reds history? And I uploaded a Ryan Friel catch from like 2006 where he came out of nowhere. I don't know if you remember that catch, Mike, or
He
not.
looked like Superman, right?
Yeah, I mean, if StatCast was around in 2006, he probably had a catch probability of like 1%. Like it was, like I was at the game. It was unreal. But we broke down our top 10 moments. I can go through a couple of them. Terry Francona hit 2,000 wins as a manager. Ellie De La Cruz home run on the day his sister passed away. Hunter Green's first complete game shutout. Andrew Abbott's first complete game shutout. Nick Lodolo's first complete game shutout. Like, there was a lot of first. Yeah, his what's it against the Cubs?
I don't know, but they couldn't hit him at all. I don't think it was the Cubs, but I just remember they lost.
I know
both
the
those
one
games.
was against Cleveland, and famously the last out of the game looked like it was going to be launched into Toronto, and it just fell short of the warning track. But yeah, we broke down the top 10 moments of the year. I think the week before that we did or 2 weeks before that we did our top 30 prospects, our rankings. We really like to dive deep, and once this into the prospects, like once the season starts, we'll go more into like weekly recaps and stuff like that. We do a lot of interviews. You've been on there, Mike. We've had some notable people on there.
Yeah, that was the worst interview you ever did, by the way. Come on. Yeah.
We'll get you back on for another one. Cheese, we'll get you on there too. Talk Cubs.
Absolutely. So against the Cubs, 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, 1 goddamn hit. The shutout was against. Was against.
Look at Cheese pulling up all these stats and everything. Look at him. Look
I have
at
to go
him
through
go.
all
He's
the
not
games.
a football guy,
here it
ladies and
is.
gentlemen. He's pulling up all these baseball stats.
3 hits, 1 walk against Cleveland. Yeah, 1-0. Wow.
I think he had a no-hitter going into the 8th, I think, because I remember Jake Fraley made a diving catch in right field to preserve it, which ended up breaking up, but it was incredible.
2 starts in a row against the Cubs too. He went 12 2/3, 1 run, and
Jeez.
and won both games. Yeah.
All right, Ricky. So you're talking about all your stuff here. Plug yourself, buddy. What's your YouTube? What is your X? Give us all your spots, bud.
Yeah, X is at It's Ricky Logan, all one word. YouTube's Red Hot Reds podcast. We also stream on your X as well, I believe. You can find anything that I write about on SI at CincinnatiRedsTalk.com. And yeah, I try to stay active on there. I try to respond to as many people as I can. I follow back people for the most part, unless they're like obvious trolls. But yeah, I like to have fun on there.
We got a couple of those today, yes. But I will tell you this, something that Ricky doesn't like to take credit for, but he should. Ricky is our graphics guy here. So everything that you see, like when we do the watch along and you see the stuff on the side and, the stuff at the top here right now, the symbol that you see back on the background on the television behind me, the same symbol that's in the corner up here, all of that stuff is Ricky Logan. And buddy, you have really made a big difference to All Gloves Off Sports Media, you and Roger both with your podcast. We're going to, believe it or not, I think we're going to be adding up to like 5 or 6 more podcasts to this network here in the coming year. I asked you earlier and you delivered to me. It'll be up on our X spot here probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. There'll be a link tree up there where we can get all kinds of stuff off of it. And we are really looking forward to getting some more sponsors here. I'm in talks with 4 different people right now trying to get some more stuff for us. So the All Gloves All Sport Media platform is really taken off. Cheese is a big part of that with his show. And of course, Ricky and Roger is a big part of that as well with the Red Hot Reds. So we appreciate everything that you are doing, buddy. So I'm going to give you the option here, man. You going to stay for a minute, or you need to bug out and go play with your kids?
I think I probably should get with the kids, but I'll give you a Bengals take. Sit Burrow the rest of the year, sit Chase the rest of the year, sit Higgins the rest of the year, tank for a draft pick because they're absolutely terrible at drafting past pick number 10.
Okay.
That's true.
Fire Zach Taylor, fire Duke Tobin.
We're actually going to talk about
what we're going to talk about in a minute. I'm telling you, you should just hang out, man. But okay.
Oh.
I understand you got kids, you got a wife, you got stuff you got to go do, and he's in Cincinnati too, so his time frame's a little different than ours is. So, Ricky, buddy, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll have you on again real soon, and then Cheese and I will both be over there on the Red Hot Reds. We'll swap stuff back and forth, and we'll just promote the tar out of All Gloves Off Sports Media. Thank you, Ricky.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy.
Later, man.
All right, excellent job right there. That's Ricky Logan. He does a fantastic job with us. Let me click this thing a couple times and figure out which one of these. Nope, that was not it. Figure out which. Nope, that was not it. Figure out which one of these we want here. Oh, what happened there?
Let's not do that.
No. Okay, let's go with that one. That one looks fine right there. So,
We'll go.
All right, sir. Hey, doing a great job here and getting everything put together. It was a fantastic baseball segment, but we have to have all the football stuff. You want to wrap up anything baseball? You kind of look like you want to say something else. Am I interrupting you, buddy? No, you good?
I got everything. Yep.
All right.
Let's go to football.
Excellent. Let's go to the NFL with Cheese's segment. NFL 4 down territory. All right, Cheese, give us a preview, buddy. What are we going to do on NFL 4 down territory over the next few minutes?
We're going to talk about the Bengals and Cardinals and whether some people should be fired, just like Ricky brought up. We're talking about the Jaguars, how well they're doing. We're going to talk about how a bunch of teams are going to dome stadiums in the near future. And we're going to talk about Tankathon. It's Tankathon season for draft picks.
I like tankathon myself, especially for a few teams. But
all your
look at
teams,
that.
it seems like tankathon's your thing. All your teams seem to
I
be
know.
bad.
I don't even know why. I don't think we'll start working doubles on Sunday. I don't know why I'm even here trying to watch anything. Oh man, you're right. It is pitiful. So, Cheese.
Yes.
The NFL segment is yours. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with your Bengals and Cardinals. Those are your two teams. Both teams expect to be in the playoffs. Before the season started, both have had really disappointing years for very different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get too into that. The reports out there, and these are reports, this is not a fact, that both franchises are keeping, that Bengals are keeping Duke Tobin, their top executive, head coach Zach Taylor, that they're safe. And the Cardinals reportedly are going to keep Monty Ossenfort, who's their GM, and head coach Jonathan Gannon. So let's just start with Duke Tobin. He runs the Bengals draft. Do you think he should be retained?
No. The Bengals have drafted terrible. Ricky said this, alluded to it kind of before he got out of here. They have gone with, and here's the philosophy, and if you don't believe me, you can look it up for the last handful of years, right? They have basically kept their offensive players, and they have signed offense in free agency, and they've gone with drafting defensive players. Well, they have drafted defensive players over the last 5 or so years, and hardly any of them have panned out. I do like Miles Murphy. I do like him. I think he's going to come on. But beyond that, I don't see a whole lot of anything that really has me excited on the defensive side of the ball for these guys. So because that's what he's drafted and he's the one doing it, no, that guy needs to go. We need to get somebody in there who knows what they're doing as far as draft capital and stuff goes. You know what? I nominate Cheese. Cheese is the next draft capital analyst for the Cincinnati Bengals.
I do better than him. There's no team that takes more chances on super high ceiling but super low floor players, and it has not worked out.
No.
And
it's like Kajana Carter,
you can do that once, maybe one first round pick every 5 years, take this huge chance, but you can't do it every year because you're going to miss on some of those. You're not going to hit on all of them.
Yeah.
So I agree. Yeah. Duke Tobin, he needs to go. They need someone much better. And what about head coach Zach Taylor? Do you think he should be retained?
I don't mind Zach Taylor, but here's what I don't like. And I mean, he's not okay. He's staying with us, even though he's not on the screen anymore. So I'm not a fire Zach Taylor guy. He does the press conferences really well. I think there's qualities that he does. Calm down, Ricky. I think that if you wanted to put takes, just stay on the show, man. So
we already knew that. He already told us right before he left.
you, Ricky Logan, had a golden opportunity that not many people get, which is to be on the Lights Out Sports podcast, and then you go off the Lights Out Sports podcast, and then just put takes up here. So, all right, well, okay. I hope that you're having a good time with your kids while you're typing. So, made whose career? Oh, Zach Taylor, I guess that's who he's referring to. Here's what I don't like, and I don't like it about Zach Taylor. I don't like it about any of these coaches. That's one of the reasons why I brought it up earlier in the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 when I said Ryan Day is going to take over play calling. I think you're asking one guy to do a lot when you are the head coach and you're looking at everything else and you're trying to manage the clock and you're, all that kind of stuff. And then you're calling all the offensive plays. Cheese, probably better than anybody. It's not just you scratch your head or you look at a sheet in front of you and call it. I mean, you're calling plays 3 in advance and trying to put this play and this play together. I mean, how many times have we talked, especially when you and I are doing a watch along and you say, well, if they're going to do this on 3rd down, then they're going to go for it on 4th down. So that means they're calling 2 plays in a row. And, there's all kinds of little intricacies for that. I don't think you should have a head coach that calls the plays. And that's where I think the Bengals and Zach Taylor are really messing up here. I don't think Zach Taylor's that good. I think he's a good head coach. But I was hoping Mike McDonald was going to get fired from the Dolphins and he could come over here and be our offensive coordinator. I think you need an offensive coordinator and a head coach.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel. Mike McDonald's doing a great job in Seattle. He's not getting fired, but
that's
Mike
true.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do it at least once every podcast to screw up a name. So
at least once. God, you brought up so many things there. I could. There's so many things you just brought up. I'll say this: the Bengals don't they like to keep their coach. At least they kept Marvin Lewis a long time. I don't think they like to change, and I don't think they want to change the offense because the offense is very good when Burrow's healthy. It's except the game against Baltimore this year. Let's just not talk about that. But for the most part, I mean, I think that's continuity. I think that's why they're keeping him. I don't think he's doing a great job, but I get it.
Not.
I could see it going either way. But I think it hurts the Packers as well because Matt LaFleur just doesn't know. He calls the plays and he just makes the worst decisions. So
I figured you'd bring that up.
Yeah, and Dan Campbell, he doesn't do it. And he seems to make a lot of really good decisions. Well, as the Lions. So, okay. So we talked about the Bengals. What about the Cardinals? Monty Ossenfort. He's been there since 2023. Came from the Titans. What do you think? Do you think he should be retained?
Well, I think he has the opposite effect of the Bengals. We don't see anybody on the Bengals with any kind of prowess whatsoever. I see a lot of people on the defensive side of the ball that seem to be improving. And they might not be superstars, but you're not going to have Micah Parsons on every team. So you're going to have to draft well. You're going to have to condition them well. You're going to have to teach them up. Branch, the I believe 4th round pick from Ohio State, looked really good in the game this past Sunday. You've got a bunch of other players that are on that team. Of course, led by number 3, Budda Baker, who is, it's just a shame that poor guy has only been in one playoff game in his entire career. But, you've got to have a leader like that. They've got one, and then they plug in all these kids, and I really like where they're going. So I like the job that Monty Ossenfort has done. I'm sure you saw the stat as well, and it's not even close. They had the most, I'm trying to think of exactly how it was worded, the injuries are bad there. And there's no other team that's even close to them injury-wise. So you can't necessarily put that on the GM, and I don't think you can put that on the coach either. I'm sure we'll talk about JG here in a minute. But as far as Monty Ossenfort goes, I like the job that he's done, and I think he should be retained.
I agree. His first draft was tremendous. I'm guessing you've seen the video where he had the 3rd pick, he moved down, then moved back up.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. He played that perfectly, and then still got Paris Johnson. That was a great pick. You got Garrett Williams. You got Michael Wilson in that draft. Last year's draft, we'll see. And I really loved.
You got Johnson though. I mean, last
year. I mean 2024 draft.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To be determined. No, this year's draft. I really liked the Walter Nolan, Will Johnson back-to-back. Both of them had some injury issues, but the best talent on the board. And Will Johnson was a no-brainer. So I think he's done a good job drafting. Like you said, no one had more injuries in the first half of the Baltimore Ravens. No one's had more injuries in the second half than the Arizona Cardinals. There's no doubt about it. And Walter Nolan and Garrett Williams both on IR. So, yeah, I think I retain him as well. Okay. Last but not least, Jonathan Gannon. Head coach, do you think he should be retained?
This one's a little up in the air for me. I personally like his style. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people like the yell, scream. That's what you have to do to motivate people. And Jonathan Gannon is not the yell, scream guy. He is the, very diplomatic, very calm, very level-headed guy. New school type coach. Correct. I'm to be honest, I'm kind of that way too. If I'm yelling or if I'm panicking, I tell people at work all the time, if I'm panicking, something is really wrong. You should either run to me or run away from me, one of the two, because something is really, really wrong, right? So I'm in that boat. I don't like to yell and scream at people. I don't think you have to degrade people in order to teach them. So I like his style, but I think he comes off sometimes as that he doesn't care or that he doesn't care enough because of the style that he is. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to retain him, but I'm going to tell him, hey, these are the expectations. And if you don't meet those expectations this season, we're not even having this discussion. We're going to fire you the moment our season ends next year.
Here's what worries me. They just have found a way to lose so many games they should have won this year.
Mm-hmm.
The worst being the Titans game, but so many one-score games. And it's just like, I watch the games and I'm like, they just keep messing up. And that goes onto the head coach when you keep losing so many close games. Yeah, sometimes it's bad penalty calls. Sometimes they get drop pass here and there. It happens, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it just feels like I don't know. It just feels like they're making too many mistakes, and that like I said, goes back to that coach. I would personally fire him, but if they keep him, I get it. Give him more a year, but I think they should move on. Okay. Anything to add about the Cardinals and Bengals?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have won 6 straight games, including beating the Broncos in Denver 34-20, scored 34 on the Broncos defense. They are the only team to win in Denver this year. They were undefeated before Sunday. The last 2 games for the Jaguars are against the Titans and Philip Old Man Rivers' team, the Colts. So they're very likely to finish 13-4. Do you believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars are true Super Bowl contenders?
Ooh. True Super Bowl contenders. Well, you've upped the ante here, sir.
Yes.
No. I'm going to say no to Super Bowl. I will say division, yes. Have they improved from last year? Yes. Do I like their head coach and where they're headed? Yes. But there is a huge jump from where they were last year to being a Super Bowl contender. And I'll say this. They are where I expected the Arizona Cardinals to be. Did I expect the Cardinals to be Super Bowl contenders? No, but I thought they would take this kind of a leap and this kind of a jump and get into the playoffs and make some noise, but, lose in the first or second round. And that was okay with me, just as long as they're building and going in the right direction. So I do think Jacksonville's going in the right direction. I'm just not willing to put Super Bowl contender on their name quite yet.
They're playing great. And their defense, last year they underachieved. I watched a lot of their film. I watched it after because I was surprised how bad their defense was, but there were guys missing assignments. There was a lot of confusion in some games. I still remember that Bills game. The Bills could do whatever they wanted. Like, it was just and they added Anthony Campanile. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He was a linebacker coach of the Packers. He has done a tremendous job. Much more disciplined defense. Better tackling, just better, not missing as many assignments. That's been huge for them. But yeah, we'll talk more about Liam Cohen, their head coach, in a second. So Trevor Lawrence is finally playing like a franchise quarterback. In the last 4 games, if you did not know, he has thrown 12 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's with Travis Hunter out for the year. So what do you think's been the biggest difference for him?
I mean, you can't say he's gotten better players around him because he really hasn't. You're raising your eyebrow there.
Well, they did trade for Jacoby Myers from the Raiders, and he's been terrific for them, and they just extended him. So that's okay. That was going to be my point, but But go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, so too, because you do all this analytical thing, and you've really made me. This is the only reason I'm still watching football right now, to be very honest, because as you've mentioned earlier, both my teams that I root for are terrible right at the moment. So it's hard for me to get up on Sunday after working the double on Saturday, which is what I usually do, and to be invested in football. What's got me invested and keeps me invested in football right now are looking at different things, looking at linemen, looking at different players and all of that. I watched Trevor Lawrence a lot in that game against Denver. He seems to be really being able to read the defense and make adjustments now, to where it used to be they just call the play and he goes with it and he doesn't really do anything else. I think that's the biggest difference for me, is that he's learning to read the defenses better, and he's learning to make better adjustments as the game goes along.
I think with Trevor Lawrence, the biggest problem with him, he was the number 1 overall pick. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem for him is he's got a lot of talent, a lot of arm talent. He'll make this amazing throw, and then the next throw will be like, what are you doing? One of the worst interceptions you could possibly see. Like, he just miss a guy by 5 yards. Like, so inconsistent. And I don't know if it's the coaching or what. He seems so much more confident, so much more poised. And I think it helped getting Jacoby Myers, because he is, he's not as talented as Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, but he's more reliable. He's that veteran that's just reliable. He's going to always run the right route. He's going to make the catch. And I think that's just really, really helped Trevor Lawrence. I think that's been the biggest difference, to get a veteran in there. He's always had young receivers. So Yeah, and if this Trevor Lawrence is what the Jaguar fans have been waiting for. Okay. Do you think this is sustainable? Do you think he will be a franchise quarterback going forward, or do you think he still might revert to old Trevor Lawrence?
That's going to be the big question, and I think we're going to find that out when they make the playoffs. What's going to be interesting to me is to see, can he handle the pressure? Because as you and I both know, as you get deeper and deeper into the playoffs, the team that's across from you gets better and better. It's like right now, right? It's one thing for the San Francisco 49ers to beat the teams on the last place schedule. It's one thing for the New England Patriots to beat the teams on their last place schedule. But it's going to be a different ball game when you get into the playoffs, and all of a sudden everybody every week is a really good team. So I want to see Trevor Lawrence under that kind of pressure and see what he delivers when that happens.
Bears also play last place schedule. Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see. They still have a chance at number one seed. Jaguars, not very unlikely, but they still have an outside shot at that. And like I said, if they win their last two games versus bad teams, they will win the division and probably be at worst the third seed. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They'll get that. They would get a home game then. Okay. Last question about the Jaguars. If they finish 13-4, they beat the Colts and Titans. Do you think Liam Cohen, would he get your vote for Coach of the Year? Or is there someone else that's ahead of him?
Oh, man. I should have looked at these notes better and been a little more prepared here for this one. You've got some really good questions here this week, Chiefs.
Thank you.
Here's what you're welcome. I
don't get a lot of compliments from you, so I have to say thank you.
You better take them. I have to say that Mike Shanahan is right up there for me as far as Coach of the Year because of all the injuries and things. Or Kyle. Yeah. See, there we go. At least one. Now we've got two. So
Mike was a very good coach too.
He was, but because of all the injuries and things that Dave had to go through, how he's navigated the Brandon Ayuk thing, I will give him a lot of credit for that. But he's at least going to be the Jaguars coach is at least going to be in my top three right now. We'll see how the season ends as to whether he'll stay 1, 2, or 3.
I would have him second. I think he's done a tremendous job. He's changed the culture there too. Like I said, they were very undisciplined last year. I think the run game stunk the last couple of years. As soon as he got there, they became a great running team. So he's really improved that. And of course, Trevor Lawrence is playing well, but I still think Mike McDonald in Seattle has done a tremendous job. And I would still give him my vote, just slightly over Liam Cohen, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Third topic. It was announced that the Kansas City Chiefs, they're building a dome stadium in Kansas for the 2031 season. This is the third team that has announced a future dome stadium that is currently outdoors, the other two being the Bears and the Browns. So after these open, about half, just under half of the NFL will have a dome or retractable roof, some kind of dome possibility. So my question for you is, do you prefer football in dome stadiums where typically you're going to get more offense to help the passing game?
It's funny. I've really contemplated this question because I knew this one was coming. We talked about it a day or two ago when the Kansas City announced it. I understand what they're doing. I'm sure we're going to talk about this a little more in depth here in a moment, but I understand what they're doing. As far as do I like it because it gives me more offense, I don't really know if it does that. You know what? I'll say it this way. I like it better when it's snowing while I'm sitting on my couch watching it, but I wouldn't like it snowing if I'm in the stadium watching it. So I understand what they're doing. But I tell you what, though, there's just something about, Buffalo Bills football in January with snow all over the place. And you're just, I said it earlier, I believe when we were on, I can't remember if it was off air or on air. We were talking about Green Bay. I was like, it's going to be so cold in Green Bay that it's going to make me put a blanket around me in Arizona out here in 80-degree weather. Right. So I love watching it, but I wouldn't like to be a fan in it.
I don't like it. I don't think anyone should have a dome stadium. I I think NFL should be played outside. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I mean, there was a game last year where the Bills beat the Lions in Detroit 48-42. It was so entertaining. It was so fun. Not going to lie. It's fun to watch this kind of Jared Goff and Josh Allen were tremendous. And it was fun to watch. But I still like the outdoor. I still like the outdoors better, especially like playoff time. Okay, so you mentioned that. So do you enjoy the snow games? Do you enjoy watching them?
I enjoy watching them, yes.
Yeah, I do too. I love when it snows. There was a game, God, it's been 20 years. Ryan Grant was a running back for the Packers. I think they played the Seahawks, and he ran for over 200 yards. And you didn't even know where he scored a touchdown because you couldn't tell where the marker is. And it was just great. I absolutely love snow games. And obviously my team is an outdoor team, the Packers. Right. So I just always kind of – actually, I was at a Baltimore Raven Packer game at Baltimore years ago. And it was December, and I was up high. I didn't have a lot of money at the time for tickets. So, and it got in the upper teens, and that's the coldest I've ever been in my life. And by the time the third quarter hit, my buzz ran out too. See, a lot of those fans in Green Bay, they'll have the antifreeze in them. You know what I mean? It helps, but it was brutal, and the wind chill was probably in the ever been in my life. So, and the Packers got absolutely destroyed. Okay. Last question about stadiums. Okay. The NFL, I think they want this. I think they like the weather not being a factor. Do you think they will eventually require every team to build an indoor stadium? Like if you're building a new stadium, they'll say you have to make it indoors or retractable.
No, I don't think they'll do that. So it's funny. I've got two guys at work that are Packers fans as well. And we were talking about this earlier. So my thing, and I'm going to bring it up to you now, is I'm banking there's already some kind of an agreement between Kansas City and the NFL that once Kansas City builds that stadium, they will host the Super Bowl soon thereafter, right? And they're looking at it as money. They're looking at it as revenue. And that's where I understand this concept from. Cleveland's in the same boat, right? Cleveland's never going to have a Super Bowl if their stadium is not some kind of dome, right? Green Bay is the same way. All of these Buffalo, same way, and they're building one that I don't believe it has I think they're going to stick with a traditional open air stadium. But what the NFL is going to try to do, which I think is interesting, is I believe they're going to try to do the draft in some of these colder weather places because the draft is not necessarily in winter time. I think they're going to try to pump revenue like they just did with Green Bay, right? And they just did it with Detroit not long ago. Mm-hmm. I even think they did it in Cleveland a few years ago as well.
Yeah, so, it's late April, so it's warm enough. Yeah,
right. So I think it's going to be an interesting dichotomy moving forward. If they're like, okay, if you make the Dome Stadium, we'll put you there. We'll put a Super Bowl there because let's face it, the Super Bowl was not for you and I. All right, you and I are not ever going to get 50-yard line tickets to the Super Bowl.
It's for the Swifties. It's for Taylor Swift. She lands her plane on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, unless we become really, really famous and everybody knows the Lights Out Sports podcast, which could happen. They
need to invite us. They need to invite us to Super Bowl, and we need a vote. We need to be able to vote for MVP, Coach of the Year, and stuff like that. We need votes.
Yes, and we need to knock out the Pro Bowl. Anyway, so it could happen, but those tickets are not for you and I. Those tickets are for wealthy, and businesses that get them and give them away and stuff like that. So none of those people want to be cold. I mean, if you looked at Taylor and said, okay, all right, Taylor, we're going to have the Super Bowl at in Green Bay this year. We want you to do the halftime show. She's going to be like, no. Make somebody else get out there and freeze their buns off, but not me.
Even if Green Bay had a dome, they wouldn't. The city's not big enough to host a Super Bowl. It can do a draft, but not a Super Bowl. They'll never get it. But I think there are two teams that will never, ever do a dome. Two for sure, and that's Buffalo and Green Bay. There's no way. Their fans actually tailgate, and they love it. They, believe it or not, they love it when it gets below zero and the cold games. Like I said, Packer fans will get up at 6 a.m. They will for a Sunday night game, and you can see the parking lot. They're grilling brats, and they start drinking as soon as they start drinking at 6 a.m. and they drink all day.
That's dedication right there.
Some of them do that. So, yeah, I don't think NFL will require, but like you said, they will encourage it. I think they like dome stadiums, and like you said, if you have a dome stadium, it doesn't matter where you are, you can get a Super Bowl.
Right. And
Okay.
I mean, just before we move on, right? So out here in Arizona, we've got all these dome stadiums out here, right? So you got Chase Field that has a dome stadium on it, has a retractable roof. You've got State Farm Stadium. It does the Cardinals out here that has the roof on it as well. And not only are they hosting games, but they're both hosting college football playoff games. One's a bowl game. The Rate Bowl is going to be at Chase Field in a baseball stadium, but it's a nice warm weather spot with a dome on top of it. Why not, right? And I think that you're going to see venues, they can make extra money by doing stuff like that, get extra sponsorships and get more TV time and things like that. So out here where it's 115 degrees in the shade, sometimes it's nice to also have a dome stadium and just pump that thing full of air conditioning.
In baseball, it's different. You play it in the summer. Teams like Miami, Houston, Arizona need dome stadiums. I think Atlanta should. I went to a Braves game once in August. Never again. When I lived not far from Atlanta, when I lived in Tennessee, I could drive there. I would never go. I stopped going after June 1st. It's just too hot. I like to go to day games. I prefer going to day games. So
yeah, me too. I love day games.
You can't go to day games after June 1st, or you're just going to sit there and just drip sweat. So yeah, Arizona, Miami, and Houston have either dome or retractable if you have to. It's just too hot. You're going to lose. You're not going to get as many fans coming out. Oh God, I can't imagine in like late July in Arizona outside. That's just got to be insane. Okay, you ready for the next topic?
I am, sir. Let's go.
Tankathon season. If you're not going to make the playoffs, we've talked about this, might as well lose. So the Giants and the Raiders currently are tied at 2-13 for the worst record in the NFL, and they play each other Sunday. The loser
that'll be a great game.
It will be a great game. Well, it'll be a great game for not the good reasons, but for all the bad reasons. The loser will clinch the first overall pick if they lose and lose next week. Even if they lose and win next week, they still could get it, especially the Giants, the tie breaks. But so basically, if the Giants, Raiders lose next week, you pick first in the draft. So you are the owner of either team. Your owner, Mike. Okay. Do you encourage the head coach, Afka or Pete Carroll, to play younger guys, or basically make sure you lose that game?
Yes. And I don't even have to think about that. The number one pick is so much more vital than the number two pick. Nobody ever talks about who's got the number two. Everybody's always talking about who has the number one. And I understand that, the Giants are not going to go off Jackson Dart, so they don't need a quarterback at number one. But the Raiders could either use that quarterback at number one, get somebody younger, or, as you love to say all the time, trade that puppy back, fall back somewhere in the teens, and then get two more draft picks out of it. And both of those teams have multiple needs. So either way you go there, you can't lose. Whether you take the number one pick and grab a superstar, or whether you trade that pick back and get a couple of extra picks and still get a good pick, you can't lose either way there. So yes, I would do everything within my power to make sure I secure that number one pick.
Here's the thing with that. What if just Fernando Mendoza is the only quarterback that comes out that has any chance of going like top 10? So there's only one franchise type quarterback for sure, right? Assuming he comes out. I mean, I think he will.
Yeah.
If the Giants have the first pick, they can get so much for that pick. The Jets pick fourth right now. The Jets have 2 first-round picks in each of the next 2 years. They have 2 seconds, I believe, as well. If you pick second, there's only one quarterback, then you have to make that pick. And it's a weak top 5. We'll talk more about that as we get closer to draft, but it's not the top. This is one of the worst top 10s as far as talent that I've seen in a long time. So I could not agree more. You have to lose this game. You have to if this team fights hard and this coach makes a strategic move and wins, I'm going to be livid, because it could completely, especially like the Giants, it could really hurt their franchise. So I think you know where I'm going with the next question, obviously. Well, actually, I don't know. They both need it. But so who do you think needs the first pick more, Giants or Raiders?
Jeez. It's like saying which catastrophe needs the hospital to be closer to them.
I tell you what, take one. I tell you what, it's a tough question. Pick one team, I'll take the other. Why maybe why you think they need the first pick more.
Okay, so that makes it a little easier for me, to be honest, and it's probably going to hurt you a little bit because I'm going to take the easier one. Okay. I think the Raiders need it for the quarterback. I do like Mendoza. They've got a good running back. They've got Max Crosby, so they've got a few pieces out there. They've got a good tight end.
Yeah.
Do what now?
Brock Bowers. Yeah.
Yes, they got a great tight end out there as well. So I even think that this would be a spot to where a quarterback would actually look at it and say, yeah, I'll go to the Raiders. Look what they've got. Because a lot of times what these teams seem to do, the Bengals have done it. They went out and got Joe Burrow and have never been able to protect him. And he just gets injured over and over again. So hopefully the Raiders have set themselves up a little bit better for this. And they can go out and get a franchise quarterback, which I think, the kid from Indiana could be. I really love his enthusiasm and stuff like that. I think a lot of his intangibles on and off the field could really help his NFL career as well. So if I'm the Raiders, I try to lose, and I'm definitely going to take the quarterback unless I am completely overwhelmed by something. I'm not giving that pick up.
Yeah, I was going to go the other way. So here's the thing with the Giants. Like I said, if it's just Miranda Mendoza, if Dante Moore stays, all the other quarterbacks come back, and you pick second, you're not getting anything for pick. No one wants that second pick because who would be the pick be? I mean, there's so many. There's no one in this draft besides Mendoza that it's typically a top 5 pick in any draft, in my opinion. So
it's an interesting topic.
Well, there's a couple of studs, but they don't play a premium position that goes that high. But
got a couple good edge rushers.
Yeah, not as good as top 5 in my opinion. But the point I'm trying to make with Giants is if they pick second, they probably can't move back, and they need a lot. Just like the Raiders do. They need offensive line. They need almost 4, at least 3, maybe 4 new stars in the offensive line. They need another receiver besides Malik. They might be able to move down to 4 of the Jets and get Jordan Tyson at 4 and get another first, maybe a second round this year, maybe another first next year. Mm-hmm. That would be huge for the Giants. So I think the Giants, believe it or not, actually need to pick more because they need a lot because they have some huge holes on that roster.
Okay.
All right. That
Where concludes the NFL segment. Oh, that includes the NFL. See, we're not used to concluding the NFL segment right here because usually this is the last one. That's very interesting how we did that right there. So, yes, we're going to say
goodbye. Some college football.
Yeah, we're going to say goodbye to the NFL and hello to the college football. And we're going to do it right now as we change backgrounds. And we got to give some music to it because why not? It's college football, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, we are going to jump into this college football thing with both feet. Let me tell you exactly what we're going to look at today. We are going to look at the college football playoff games. We're going to play a little bit of either or, something we've never done before. I kind of made this up as I was doing the notes and stuff for it today. We'll see if you guys like it. Comment and tell us here in just a few moments. We're going to look specifically at James Madison and at Tulane. We're then going to look at the bowl games. There's quite a few of them between now and next Tuesday. I'm going to take one. Cheese is going to take one. And we're going to specifically talk about that. And then we are going to end our college football segment here by talking about Notre Dame and what's going on there a little bit. And the last thing that we are going to do is, of course, the lights out list, our version of the top 10. And that's going to be here in just a few moments. And the topic, Rookies of the Year in the National Football League. But before we get to all of that, let me give a few seconds shout out to Battle Bites. You can go to fuelyourbattle.com and use the code allglovesoff10. That's allglovesoff10 at fuelyourbattle.com. And you can get these great jerky bags and get 10% off of them. And not just the first time, every single time by using our code allglovesoff10. It's great for muscle recovery. It's got 26 grams of high quality protein and low carb clean ingredients. It is premium brisket and natural spices. Plus, one of the great things that we love about it here on our show is that they do 10% of all their profit to the Wounded Warrior Project. So 100% brisket, 1 gram of fat, 25 grams of protein, only 180 calories, and they've got several flavors: Reaper, Original, Sweet, and Spicy as well. So once again, go to fuelyourbattle.com and use our code allglovesoff10. All right, let's put everything else back on there. There we go. And we are set for the college football spread offense. All right, Cheese, let's dive into this. We're going to start off, of course, as we said, with the college football playoff games. We're going to play a little game of either or. And here's how we're going to do that. James Madison versus Oregon. So when James Madison had 509 total yards, they got 23 first downs and no turnovers, and they did score 34 points. I didn't think they would give us anything near that. Were you impressed by their offensive output, or most of those stats were accumulated when Oregon already had the game won and it doesn't matter? Which one would you pick?
I watched until it was 34-3, maybe 34-6, and then the Packer game came on. And I had it on the other TV, but I was so I was watching on the commercials. But, yeah, I mean, it was a slaughter. They came out. A lot of it was garbage time. They were moving the ball, though. They were. Had trouble scoring. Dan Lanning came out, was not happy with the performance. Oregon got complacent. They got up, and they just kind of going through the motion. So I think it was more they accumulated after the game was won. But yeah, Oregon's going to have to play better defensively going forward. But I think it's the latter.
Okay, so I mean, I was impressed with what James Madison was able to do. We'll talk about it here in a moment. I think I have a solution to some of this, and we'll discuss it as we get closer. But 509 total yards against Oregon is not bad. But you know, the problem was the points that they allowed Oregon to score. That was bad. So
yeah, they couldn't stop Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely not. So let's move on to the Texas A&M versus Miami game. And I'll say this, buddy, when you only score 3 points and you commit 3 turnovers, it's hard to win, even at home. And I was just stunned by the 10-3 score. So were you more stunned by the 10-3 score, or did you look at the end of the game and said, or Miami did enough to look like they belonged?
I remember we on Friday we talked about this. You thought it'd be a shootout. You thought you look at the offensive numbers. Marcel Reed was awful in this game. He's been good for most games, but he's had like 3 games where he's just horrible. He was just terrible. Now, he didn't have a lot of help from his offensive line. There was a lot of pressure on him, but he made some throws. It's just like he just completely missed guys. He had a terrible interception. That game was awful. That was torture to watch. I just even Miami's offense looked terrible. They were missed. Both
me with text messages. It was great.
Both of these kickers suck. Neither one has a kicker. If Miami, if it comes down to a kick with Ohio State, probably won't. They're not going to win. But that was torture. Just neither team looked like they belonged in the playoff at all. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Do Miami look like they belong? Look like they belong more in Texas A&M. Texas A&M is probably an 9-3 team that went 11-1. Probably not one of the 12 best teams. I don't know what happened to their offense, but it completely collapsed.
Wow. So you're going to say Texas A&M did not belong in the top 12?
Well, I said they do. They're 11-1. I'm saying is they're not a top 12 team. They're a 9-3 team that happened to go 11-1. They beat Notre Dame by 1 point, beat South Carolina by 1 point. You know, they really weren't. They were much better early in the year than they are now. They just awful in that game. Okay, it was at home. You can't 3 points. Yeah. You told me Miami scored 10 points. I'm like, wow, A&M. They won 31-10. Nice, right. You know. And I don't know what happened to Marcel Reed. I know he's under pressure, but God, he was shit.
All right, so let's move on to Alabama, Oklahoma. Which statement do you believe is more true? Either Alabama beat themselves or Alabama proved they deserved to be in the college football playoff. Or excuse me, not Alabama beat themselves. It should be Oklahoma beat themselves. There we go. Or Alabama, they deserve to be in the college football playoff.
I'll say this: Alabama was down 17-0, and then they played tremendous. They got off to a horrible start.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give them credit. I think they proved they deserved it. They were outstanding after that, and Kalen DeBoer, you could see he was so pissed early on, and they just dominated the game the last 3 quarters, basically. So, I think they proved they belong, believe it or not. It's amazing that they played so well, considering how bad they played against Georgia like 2 weeks before. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I remember when we were doing stuff live. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I know you pretty well by this point. Neither are you. But when the punt got muffed, and then they did a couple other questionable
pick
things.
Six.
We were kind of looking at each other like, wait a minute, what's going on here? But because we were teasing with each other, and if you guys didn't get a chance to do it, we did a watch along. We're going to do some more watch alongs later on in the season, so just stay tuned to our at All Gloves Off SM on X, and you'll be able to find out exactly what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. We'll give you a few days warning as far as that part goes. We'll discuss it probably after the show today, and then we'll be posting some stuff up here in the next 24 to 48 hours. So we were looking at each other like, oh man, this is going to be another terrible game that you and I are going to have to do. We're going to start scrambling for time, all of that. But to be honest with you, I like the watch alongs because I love to be able to talk about different things during the commercials and all of that. It's like a game and a podcast kind of smashed into one, and I love it. So we thought we were going to be scrambling. All of a sudden, Alabama comes back. It did look a little sketchy when it all was happening, but I kind of went back and rewatched it, and because that was the only game worth watching twice. None of the rest of them were worth watching once. But Alabama did do a great job. They made some great second half adjustments, and Oklahoma just did absolutely nothing. So I'm not sure if they proved to me that they belong to be there. What they proved to me in Alabama is that they can do second half adjustments, and their coaching staff is much better than the coaching staff at Oklahoma. And that's pretty important when you're going against other really good teams.
Well, before the mistakes, it was 17-0, and they had a really good drive to make it 17-7. If they go 3 and out and punt it again, they were pretty much done. And they had a really good drive. I'm not sure Zaire Brooks got that touchdown on that drive, but maybe it was Horton. But before all the mistakes, Oklahoma, they made it 17-7. They got back in the game. When you're down 3 scores, you're not in the game. That's what I always say. 2 scores, you're in the game. 3 scores, you're not. And then they started making mistakes, and then it was tied like that. But Alabama still outplayed them in the second half. And Ty Simpson, they started protecting him better. And like I said, Isaiah Horton and Zaire Brooks, who were their number 3 and 4 receivers all year, were tremendous. They took advantage of the matchups. Their depth at receiver, they absolutely took advantage of. That's going to be that could be a big problem for Indiana. Can they match up with all those receivers? If Alabama does pull the upset, that's probably the reason, is because they have 4 NFL caliber wide receivers.
And the other thing that you really pointed out was that they started overloading the left-hand side of the offensive line. Like they found something. And they just kept doing it over and over and over again. And Oklahoma couldn't stop them. So they made a really good change on the offensive side of the ball, and they made a really good change on the defensive side of the ball. So again, that just tells me that their coaching staff is pretty complete, and someone somewhere is pretty darn smart. And Oklahoma, I don't think Alabama can be counted out now in any of these games because of what they showed us versus Oklahoma. Let's move on to Ole Miss and Tulane.
Just real quick, just mention Mateer didn't handle pressure well. He missed some throws. He just did not play well, especially the second half. John Mateer, quarterback.
Remember we saw him doing the sidearm thing and all of that. And
his mechanics are terrible. He needs to go to Manning camp. His mechanics are all over the place. And they overload that side, and they knew he just didn't handle pressure well. He's a great scrambler, unbelievable at that, but his passing was terrible in the game.
All right, so Ole Miss Tulane. Here's my question for you. I think this will be an interesting one. We may talk about this for a few minutes. Either Ole Miss has proven that they can win without Kiffin, or do we need to wait until they play better competition to say that?
I think we need to wait. That game was obviously it was a blowout, but Tulane was moving the ball, and then they get to like the 40 and either turn the ball over or they got stopped. They were moving the ball. They just couldn't get it in the end zone. They couldn't score. So the Ole Miss defense worries me a little bit. I just against Georgia, yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to pick them to win. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind. But the defense, Ole Miss worries me because Tulane did move the ball. So I think we have to wait and see against Georgia because they were beating Georgia going in the fourth quarter in that game. That's their only loss this year. And then Georgia had an amazing fourth quarter. So I think we still have to wait and see how they handle Georgia. What do you think?
Okay. No, I'm with you. I think we have to wait. This is going to be a really intriguing matchup for me because I said it and the first time we talked about this, which was, I picked Tulane to win this game, as you may remember, and I'll bring up, that I was wrong here because I thought that I wasn't convinced that without Lane Kiffin they can do all of this stuff, and I'm still not. I just thought Tulane would score more. And as you said, they went up and down the field, but they just couldn't seem to score. They kept shooting themselves in the foot. So a team like Georgia, a team, all these other teams are not going to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Miss responds when a team doesn't self-destruct like what Tulane did.
And they couldn't stop Lacey, the running back, or Chambliss, the quarterback. They were both tremendous. They couldn't stop them.
You predicted, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just right away. I mean, they scored like 2 plays to start the game. It was like 7-0 with like less than a minute to start the game. 2 huge plays. They were down so quick, so early. So whenever that happens, it throws your game plan off.
All right, so I'm going to do a few questions just directed toward James Madison and Tulane here for a moment. So, okay. One, was James Madison and Tulane, were they overmatched? Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, they don't have especially on the defensive end, they don't have defenses that can stop top 10 teams. They just don't. So I like that they were able to move the ball. The total yards was good. The scores were terrible, but they were overmatched defensively. Absolutely.
All right. So James Madison played well, but them playing well was still not even close to beating Oregon. Would you agree with that statement?
Correct.
Okay. These are pretty easy ones. We're cupcaking these here for you for a second. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Give your brain a little break here.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up that beautiful hair or anything, right? So there's a huge difference in the type of football played and the type of athletes playing it between the Power 4 conferences and the Group of 5 conferences. Would you agree with that kind of longer statement?
Yes, I would agree. There's a big difference in athleticism, not necessarily size. I was surprised. I looked at the rosters for JMU and Tulane, especially I was looking at JMU. I really thought JMU might, maybe their linebackers are 215 or what. No, it really wasn't the size. It was the athleticism that was the difference.
All right, so here's what I'm going to propose. And I want to see if you, and I'd love to get some comments from our fans as well here to see if they agree with us. I believe college football should be divided into the Power 4 conference, and then they should have a tournament to determine a winner, and then they should divide it into the Group of 5 schools, which should have a tournament to crown a winner for them as well. Equal competition, playing against each other, and the games would be much better, much more entertaining. It's kind of, with an equal reward for each one. And I'm going to assume it and compare it to the NCAA basketball tournament. So you got the NCAA and then you got the NIT. If you put all the NIT teams in with the NCAA teams, some of those games would just be terrible. And that's what we got this past weekend. So I would do a Power 4 conference tournament and then a best of 5 group, kind of divide those in half and give each of them great games, great television platforms and stuff like that, and then give each of them a reward as well. What do you think about doing something like that, Cheese?
I'll say this. It was terrible watching these games. It was terrible. Alabama, Oklahoma was only watchable. It was JMU, Tulane. I mean, we could have had BYU, Vandy, Utah, Notre Dame. Much better. It would have been much more entertaining to watch than JMU, Tulane. It wasn't fun, and that's what it's about. I mean, we want to watch the best games, so I'll say that. Your idea, they will never go for it. They want someone in the college football playoff because they don't want to. Oh, they don't want it's like the JV team championship, whatever.
Right.
But even if that is the case, why would you want to be in the Power Four if you're like a Rutgers or a Kentucky or a Wake Forest? Why would you want to be
Money.
money, I guess, but to win anything, you're never going to win the national title. Yeah, money, but
we didn't think Indiana was going to win a national title ever either, right?
that's true. Indiana, that's very true. Well, they haven't won anything yet, but
well, yes, but at least they're relevant now.
yeah, they're they're the number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think the G5, as they call them, the group of 5 schools, 5 conferences, whatever. I don't think they'll ever go for that. I get what you're saying, and they have FCS, FBS. They have North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana. Those teams, whatever,
Right.
have their other one, but they don't. That's what they'll see. They'll think we're not those schools. So
They're not. I mean,
They're not,
realistically, they're not.
they're not, but that's what they'll think that you're trying to make us. So this will never happen. And if they try to be excluded, they'll just sue antitrust law and they'll win from what I did on the research. So
Right.
I get it. I get the idea, but I don't think it'll ever happen. But the main thing is JMU or Tulane, okay, but not both. And even the problem with one of them, the biggest problem I have is whoever's the 5 seed gets to play that team, and they get basically a glorified bye week.
Yeah, they really do. 100%.
So the 5 and 6 seeds, like Texas A&M would have beaten Tulane or JMU. They would have. As bad as they looked against Miami, they would have still beaten. It would have been closer, but they would have beaten because they were so much more athletic.
And I would have loved to seen Oregon and Notre Dame, or Ole Miss and Virginia,
BYU.
or
BYU.
BYU, or
Yeah, absolutely. Would have been much better game. Yeah.
All right, so between now and next Tuesday, when we have our next show, our next scheduled show, we might do something in between there, but we'll talk about that kind of off air, and then we'll talk to our fans later on during the week. So there are several bowl games. Let me rattle off the bowl games really quickly, and then I'm going to talk about one, and you're going to talk about one, and then we'll move on to Notre Dame here. So Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl is 9 p.m. On, I believe it's Wednesday, UNLV versus Ohio. No, that's actually tonight, I think.
It's going on right now.
Yeah, it's going on right now. That's how much I really know about it. So that's, okay.
Update.
Wednesday,
I got an update. No one scored in second quarter.
Go ahead. Give me the score.
No one. There is no score. Second quarter.
Okay. That's going to be, it's a great game.
Ohio's coach is not coaching. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, he's done inappropriate things. But anyway, go ahead.
Yes.
He got fired.
The second one. So, yeah.
It keeps happening. Anyway.
All right. Wednesday, on the 24th, you got the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, 8 p.m. on ESPN. That's Cal versus Hawaii. On Friday, you've got the Game Above Sports Bowl, 1 p.m. ESPN, Northwestern Central Michigan. Then the Ray Bowl here in Arizona, 4:30 on ESPN, also on that Friday. I may go to that game. I haven't quite decided. Minnesota versus New Mexico. The Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, 8 p.m. on ESPN. Also on the same day, Florida International versus UTSA. On Saturday, the 27th, is the Go Bowling Military Bowl, Pittsburgh versus East Carolina, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Then you've got the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl on noon, ABC, Clemson, and Penn State. You've got the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, 2:15 on ESPN, Army and UConn. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, 3:30 ABC, Georgia Tech, BYU. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, 4:30 on the CW. Yes, that's right. Fresno State versus Miami of Ohio. The Isleta
Sure.
I think.
New Mexico Bowl? Yeah.
Yeah, the New Mexico Bowl.
Just the New Mexico Bowl is fine. Yeah.
There you go. That's fine. 5:45 ESPN, San Diego State, North Texas. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, 7:30 on ABC. Virginia versus Missouri. And then the Kinders Texas Bowl at 9:15 on ESPN, LSU Houston. Then the last one, Monday, December 29th, you have the J Lab Birmingham Bowl, 2 p.m. on ESPN, Georgia Southern versus Appalachian State. I am going to talk about the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, but Cheese, which bowl game are you going to choose to tell our fans a little bit more about?
There's also the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Tech, Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, Tennessee, Illinois, Valero Alamo Bowl, USC TCU, the Relia Quest Bowl, Iowa Vandy, and the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl is Arizona State Duke. Oh, wait, Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, Michigan, Texas, SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Nebraska, Utah. So there were a few more. I think you stopped at December 30th and you just like, no more bowls. I'm done. Which one I'm talking about? Well, I'll say this. I was going to talk about the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, Tennessee, Illinois. But I'm not. By the way, that the over-under is 61.5. It should be 101.5. Both teams are not very good on defense. I'm going to talk about the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. What are you going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Who wants to go first? You or me, bud?
Go ahead.
All right. So the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl is noon on ABC. That is on this coming Saturday, the 27th. It's Clemson versus Penn State. Clemson finished the season 7-5, and of course, Cabe Klubik finished with 2,750 yards, but he only had 2 receivers with over 500 yards, 2 guys with over 5 sacks, 3 guys with over 50 total tackles, and 1 running back with over 250 yards. So Clemson, Cheese, was a disappointment all around. If you move on to Penn State, pardon me, if you move on to Penn State, Drew Aller only played in 6 games and only passed for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns, when last year he did 2,984 yards and 21 touchdowns. So that's one of the reasons why Penn State was to the 6-6 record that they are. Penn State did not have a receiver with over 500 yards all season. No one got over one interception, and no player had over 5 sacks. No defensive player had over 60 total tackles. But like the traditional Big Ten football, they had the legs of Katron Allen, who rushed for 1,303 yards, which turns out to be 6.2 yards per attempt and 15 touchdowns. So I'll say this as I wrap everything up on the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, noon Saturday on ABC. Clemson has to throw it. Penn State has to rush it. So I'll take the rushing of Penn State to come out on top, 24-17.
Okay. I've changed my mind. I'm going to do the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl between Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Tech.
2 teams that I'm sure you know so much about.
So I'll say this. Do you remember when it was the Poulan Weed Eater Independence Bowl? I missed that.
Oh, my gosh.
The Poulan Weed Eater Independence Bowl.
Sounds like an awful disease.
No. So I'm going to talk about Virginia, Missouri. And the reason I'm going to talk about that is Missouri was 8-4. They would have won the ACC. They would have. Like, they had one of the best defenses. I think they were second points, fourth in yards, or vice versa. They had an amazing running game. Didn't have the best, passing situation. Otherwise, if they had a really good passing game, God, they would probably be in the playoff. I think people just kind of slept on Missouri. No one really talked about them much. Ahmad Hardy led the SEC in rushing. 6.5 yards a carry, 16 touchdowns, 1,560 yards. He was incredible. And, Missouri basically just lost to the good teams on their schedule. And that's why they went 8-4. They lost to Alabama, lost to Texas A&M, lost to Vandy, and lost to Oklahoma. Except for Vandy, 3 playoff teams in Vandy, who is a top 15 team. That is their 4 losses. That's their biggest issue. But they just couldn't score against Oklahoma. Scored 6 points. On the other side, Virginia. What can we say about Virginia?
Mm.
So Virginia should have been in the playoff. They played so bad against Duke. I don't think you could play as bad, and they still went to overtime. Or otherwise, they would have been playing Ole Miss.
Yep.
And would have gotten killed. But I think Missouri rolls in this game. I don't think it's close. The only thing with Missouri is, okay, Damon Wilson is expected to play. They have two really good edge rushers. Damon Wilson the second. He is expected to play, according to this. I think he's going pro. A lot of people who go pro, by the way, if you're watching, don't play. And Zion Young, their other edge rusher, got a DWI.
Okay.
So apparently it's not been decided if he's playing or not, if he's going to be disciplined. So that's something to watch out for. If they both play, yeah, I definitely think Missouri wins by a ton. They're just a lot better than Virginia.
All right. So we talked about two of those bowls. I didn't want to get into it and talk a whole ton about them. But what I do want to talk about here for a second, and I can't wait to get your opinion on, is one specific team. That is the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has now canceled series with Michigan, Michigan State, and as of yesterday, USC. So I'm going to use that as the backdrop and then ask a few questions here. Do you think, Cheese, they're doing this because they are not being made to join a conference?
I don't. Okay, so here's the thing with USC. I looked it up. So basically USC, because they're in the Big Ten and it's just a really tough schedule, they're trying to play that game the first game of the year. They want to play it early. And Notre Dame wants to play it the last game of the year because Notre Dame can put a cupcake because Notre Dame picks their schedule. They can put a cupcake right before. And USC is like, we might have to play Washington or Indiana or Michigan the week before. And you can put whoever you want right before, you know? So Notre Dame wants to play it late in the year and they have more control of their schedule. And USC has a problem with that. So Notre Dame says USC pulled out, you know, USC says Notre Dame pulled out. Okay, whatever. But that's the issue. Yeah, I side with USC. Notre Dame, when you're not in a conference, they play 4 ACC teams. Okay, maybe they can't pick that schedule. Maybe I don't know what control, but the rest of they can pick their schedule. So they can put whatever they want in front of it. And I'd be frustrated if I was USC. I hate that they're not playing. There's a huge rivalry. It's been going back to forever, probably 100 years they've been playing. It's a huge rivalry. One of my really good friends, Jeff, from high school, Jeff Page, lost touch with him, but he went to Notre Dame and he hated USC. Oh, there's no one he hated more than USC. That game was huge for him. So I hate that they're not playing Michigan every year. If they had played Michigan instead of someone like Purdue or whatever, they would have been in the College Bowl playoff. That win would have meant something, and they would have had to win. That win would have meant something. So not playing those teams, I think, hurts them.
Yeah, that's what I mean as far as not being in a in a conference. We said if they would have just been in the ACC, they'd be there, right? It's their own darn fault.
They would have beaten Virginia.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for Notre Dame at all. I think it'll be interesting. We'll talk about this later on. You know, is Marcus Freeman going to stay there or is he going to go to the NFL? I think that's an interesting topic for a week or two down the road. But I don't feel sorry for Notre Dame whatsoever. But I do understand if they're upset because they didn't receive a college football playoff bid. And now they're just like, well, shoot, we're not going to get a college football playoff bid anyway. So what does it matter who we play? Do you think Notre Dame has an argument on that end of the spectrum?
I thought Notre Dame should be in. We've talked about this. I made a video on my channel at Football with Cheese on
there
YouTube,
you go.
by the way. CHEZ, Cheese. Yeah, at Football with Cheese. I thought Notre Dame should be in. I don't feel sorry for him because I think they should join a conference. But I just thought their only two losses were to Texas A&M and Miami, playoff teams. So I think they had the best losses of any team in the country, minus, of course, Ohio State, who only lost to Indiana. But they had a good resume, in my opinion. But at the same time, yeah, I think they were punished, and they didn't make it because they weren't in a conference. They didn't get to play in the conference championship game. So I think we've talked about this, but I'm going to mention again.
Mm-hmm.
If you want them to join a conference, make it so they can't be higher than the 9 seed. Right now, they can't be higher than the 5. They can't get a bye. Make it 9. Trust me, if they're undefeated, 12-0, and they're a 9 seed and have to play a 10-2 team on the road and then lose, their fans will be livid and they will join a conference. I'm more mad at the ACC than anything. They should not let them be in everything but football. Gives them an out. They play 4 games, but they're not. That gives them an out. And then Notre Dame needs it for the minor sports, but they don't need it for football because they have the NBC contract. So I just wish they would join. And I think UConn and Notre Dame are the only independents left. So I wish they'd join a conference.
Okay. And you know what? They should join the Pac-12. That would make the Pac-12 interesting if they had one good team out of the Pac-12. That's, the Pac-3. That's what they would be then. So now the Pac-12 is going to have some teams join, I believe, next year, and they're going to build themselves back up. It will be interesting to see what they end up doing. And which one do we consider them? Do we consider them the power conference, or do we consider them a non-power conference before it's all said and done? But
you can't with that lineup, in my opinion. But we'll talk about that.
That's a different thing for a different show. But
we'll talk about that.
All right. So I want to say this before we wrap up this college football thing here. I want to give our fans some great praise right now. After our watch along on Friday of last week, we put up some shorts. There was I believe 8 of them. And you guys really responded by watching them and reposting them and everything else. And we certainly appreciate you guys. I put out a tweet earlier in the week, 6,500 views on those 8 shorts in 48 hours. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing and helping us out. In fact, that you know what, that wasn't loud enough.
There you go.
So we appreciate you guys for doing that for us. All right, it is time, sir. We are done with the college football. We did the NFL already. We started off MLB with Ricky Logan and one half of the Red Hot Reds podcast. You can see that over on All Gloves Off Sports Media. Again, let's plug some things for a second before we jump into our lights out list. Not only can you see us, however you're viewing us right now, which would be YouTube. Of course, come on, Cheese. Tell us what they do on YouTube, right? With the thumbs up and all that stuff. Come on, you got that down, brother.
So what you need to do is subscribe, hit the bell for notification, and if you're watching this on YouTube, that thumbs up button that looks like this, you hit that.
There you go.
And you tell your friends, you share this with anyone who loves baseball, college football, and NFL. We talk all 3 sports, and we will talk a lot of NFL draft. So if you are an NFL draft nerd, this is the podcast that you want. And we do a mock draft with other podcasters too. We should bring that up. We do a mock draft. Mike runs it. Me and 3 others will pick for all the teams. So, that was fun.
That'll be interesting. We'll do that again this year. Can't wait for that. That'll be really great. It was great fun last year, and it'll be another really good time again this upcoming season. So thank you guys for doing all that. We are also on our audio-only platforms. You can get us on not iHeart yet. We're working on it. You can get us on Apple and Spotify there. And then, of course, we've got a TikTok going now. We're starting to do Instagram stuff. So if you've got all of those social medias and you prefer one, then make sure you catch us on that one because we're on them all. All right, guys, here we go. We are going to do the Lights Out list.
Our lists are going to be so different.
They always are. So they are always different. As you're bringing it up, let's talk about this list because what it is today, NFL rookies.
So this is not real quick. It's not rookie of the year candidates. It's what we think are the 10 most impressive rookies. Go ahead.
Okay, and that's fine. That's absolutely where we're at. Offensive and defensive. So we didn't split the categories up. We put both of them out there and open for grabs. Yes, I think this is going to be very different as far as that part goes. So while we make sure that it's different, let's change the background back to here, right? All right, that's excellent. We appreciate it. Of course, got our sponsorship there from Battle Bites down in the bottom right-hand corner. As you heard earlier, you can simply go to fuelyourbattle.com and use our code ALLGlovesOFF10 for 10% off of your order. We got some more sponsorship coming. I just got to iron everything out. and you'll be surprised here what we got coming down the pike, sponsoring different segments of the show and things like that. All right, buddy. Top 10 NFL rookies so far this season. Starting at 10 and going to number 1. Are you going to take it first, or you want me to take it first?
I haven't decided. I'll say this. I have no Green Bay Packers. They're not getting much out of the rookie class.
No.
Ironically, I just looked at it. I have an Arizona Cardinal, I have an Arizona Wildcat, and an Arizona State Sun Devil on here. A lot of Arizona on here. Interesting.
There you go.
All right, I'll go.
All right.
Number 10, I have a Marion Hampton, running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego there. He has been hurt and missed time.
Me.
Yeah, he's been hurt and he's missed most of the season. But when he's been out there, he's been a terror. He's athletic. People bounce off of him. He's back now. I did not take. If you were injured, I went most impressive. So if you were hurt and missed half the year, I did not knock you down, unless you've missed like most of the year, like Walter Nolan or something. But yeah, a Marion Hampton Chargers first round pick. He's going to be really, really good.
Okay, my first pick is going to be a New England Patriot, an offensive tackle for them. Okay. Will Campbell. He's made 12 starts, 87.9% pass win rate, and 70.4% run block rate. He was drafted in the first round with the number 4 pick. Yes, he was injured some, but one of the reasons why Drake May is doing so well is because he is protecting him. So number 10, I've got Will Campbell of the New England Patriots.
I had him at 10, actually, and then I remembered somebody that would have been really embarrassing if I had put him on there. So I knocked him out. But yeah, okay. Will Campbell, I wasn't super high on him, but he's been a really good left tackle. Not great, but he's definitely improved the position. My number 9 is your team, Arizona Cardinals. I have Will Johnson, cornerback. He was coming off-season injury. He couldn't work out the combine, so he fell the second round. But he's a stud. He's going to be. He is upside of a number 1 corner. He was playing really well. I think he missed some games with injuries. I think he's played 10 games this year. But when he's been out there, he's looked really good. So Will Johnson, cornerback, number 9.
All right, my number 9 guy is the only quarterback on this list.
Okay.
At number 9. 1,417 passing yards with 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has rushed for 317 yards as well. I almost put him a little higher than this with his 7 touchdowns, but I put Jackson Dart, the New York Giants quarterback, at number 9.
I looked at all 3 quarterbacks, Tyler Shuck, Cam Ward, and Jackson Dart. I just couldn't put them on there. There's just too many other just good players. But yeah, if we did a top 20, I would have put all 3 of those guys on. My number 8 is James Pierce Jr., edge rusher for Atlanta Falcons. He was projected to be a top 15 pick. They were off the field stuff. They were talking about his practice habits, his attitude. So he fell to late first round. Atlanta traded back up in to get him. And he was actually the second edge rusher Atlanta took in the draft. And he's outplayed Jalen Walker, in my opinion. So I have James Pierce Jr., number 8, edge rusher.
I'm just smiling because this list is already going to be so different. It's not funny. So
you don't have any of the guys I have, do you? So
no.
There's going to be players that I never probably considered you have. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what we got here. So this was interesting to do some research on this. There are some players who were doing quite well. A little bit. Some of the teams that are not great teams or whatever, but they still got good players. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I have 2 Cleveland Browns on this list. So. We'll get to both of them here in just a little bit. You have one?
I almost put 4. I put 3 tight ends in this. I had probably 4 tight ends in my top 15, but I have 3 tight ends in this list. But anyway, go ahead.
It's interesting. So interesting that you say that because my number 8 guy is a tight end.
Oh, I have 2 Browns, by the way. Sorry.
Okay.
2 Browns. I just saw that. Go.
Cleveland is so insignificant. We don't even know how many of them we got on our list. So
I still don't even know who I put on my list.
It's great podcasting, sir. And it's bravo for you, sir. I'm never complimenting you again. I did it earlier, and stop it. Your hair is fine. Okay, stop. You can just shave it all off like I do, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
No, you're not to that point yet.
Okay, you have a tight end at number 8.
I do. He's like,
Are we ever going to get back to that?
Back to the list. All right. 31 receptions, 406 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He was taken with the number 10 pick in the first round. He is with Dub Bears, and he is Colston Loveland, the tight end for them, and I have him at number 8.
More on him later. My number 7 is a Cleveland Brown. Okay, his name is Carson Schwetzinger, linebacker. He's the first pick of the second round. He's just been great, consistent all year. He really hasn't had a bad game. He makes the tackle. He's good instinctively. He can blitz. He's just a good all-around player. He's never going to be like, Luke Kuechly or anything, or Ryan Urlacher, no one like that. But he's just a really good player and has helped their defense.
All right, so you and I are always, especially a lot more you than I, but you're getting me to this point of understanding how good the lines have to be, whether it's offensive line or defensive line. And in my number 7 pick here, I selected a lineman, and I'd have probably never done this in the past because this is not something that I really look at. We're after the flashy players, the quarterbacks, the receivers, the running backs, and they're all the guys who get all these awards. But this guy, in his interior defense, has really made the Seattle Seahawks a great team. Let me give you some of his stats because I wanted to go off the stats too. In 12 starts, he's got a 91% pass block win rate. That is outstanding, especially for a rookie. And he has an 84.6% run block win rate. He was taken with the number 18 pick in the first round, Gray Zabel, guard, Seattle Seahawks.
You know why I didn't include him in my list?
Why is that?
It's because that Thursday game against the Rams, Kobe Turner destroyed him. He had a horrible game. Kobe Turner was just outstanding for the Rams, defensive tackle. Seahawks still won. I don't know, that maybe they just sit with me, so I just couldn't put him on the list. Just because I know it's just one game, but God, he was bad. But yeah, I love that pick for the Seahawks. My number 6 is another Cleveland Brown, Harold Fannin Jr., tight end / fullback. He has really come on. He's got chemistry with Shadur Sanders. He was unbelievable Bowling Green. Set MAC records, just incredible, but he didn't have a great workout. Falls to the 3rd round. He's just one of those guys you just knew would be good. You didn't know how good. So probably a 3rd round steal. But yeah, Harold Fanning, he's absolutely come on. He's Shadur Sanders' favorite target for the Browns. So yeah, I have him at number 6.
Now, was that your second Cleveland Brown on your list? So that they're done, right?
Yes, I did not have that player that you probably have. He just couldn't find room for him. Yeah.
Well, I've still got 2 more Cleveland Browns to get to on this.
Besides these 2?
Besides those 2, yes.
Who besides Quinshawn do you have?
Well, no, okay. So never mind. One of them's going to be Quinshawn in the moment, but yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We'll get there.
Okay.
So the New York Jets finally have somebody in a rookie class that was good, and I put him at number 5.
Don't believe you.
I don't believe you. 12 starts, 91.1 pass blocking win rate, 78.8 run block win rate. He was taken with the number 7 pick in round 1. Armand Membu, yes. So the Jets fans, you actually did get a good player in the first round, just probably not the one you were hoping for.
Yeah, I really like that pick. I was really high on him. I think he's been a little inconsistent. I've seen some games where he got beat. I just couldn't quite put him on my list. Another one that would have made the top 15. But yeah, I like their approach to get offensive line first. We'll get the quarterback later. Let's make sure we have a good offensive line. My number 5, another tight end. Tyler Warren for the Indianapolis Colts. Got up to him. He was unbelievable at Penn State. He was the main focus. Their offense was designed around him. He got off to an amazing start. Since the quarterback situation's dropped off, he has dropped off. And I'm a little disappointed in his blocking. I thought he'd be just an unbelievable blocker like he was in college. So I couldn't put him higher than 5, but he's still a stud. Tyler Warren, he's athletic. He can do it all. He can run. So yeah, Tyler Warren from the Colts, number 5.
All right. More on him later.
Okay.
So I have him a little higher than you.
Okay.
My number, I believe it's 5. I don't know. Like I said, I have notes all over the place for this one, and I was a little scatterbrained with this stuff, so I got notes everywhere. But my next person on this list has 196 carries and 758 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, 17 receptions for 98 yards. He was actually taken in the second round by the Cleveland Browns. That's where I'm putting Quinshawn Judkins, is, I believe, number 5 for me, running back, Cleveland Browns.
He's been very good. Only 3.6 yards a carry. I just couldn't put him ahead of these other 10 guys, but I get it. Yeah. And really sucks for him. He has a really devastating injury. He'll miss probably the entire offseason program for him. Number 4, you mentioned him already, Colston Loveland, tight end for the Chicago Bears. I was very high on him in the draft, but I was higher on Warren. I was actually trashing the Bears for not taking Warren, but I think Loveland's actually had a better season slightly. I think he's really impresses me is his blocking, which he didn't do very well at Michigan. But I don't know if it's Ben Johnson, I don't know if they're motivated, but his run blocking has actually been impressive when I go back and watch the Bears games. And he has really come on. He was kind of banged up early in the year, but he is a weapon for them. He can stretch the field at tight end, and he's got a great future. So number 4, Colston Loveland, tight end, Bears.
All right. I've got him on this list too, so I can't knock that too much.
3 tight ends in a row for me. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic job there, sir.
No more tight ends.
No more tight. Are you sure?
Got some receivers coming up. Got some wide receivers.
Got some receivers coming up.
Yeah, I got some receivers coming up. Yeah.
All right, so I do have a tight end right here, number 4. You mentioned him earlier, Tyler Warren, 58 receptions, 684 yards, and 4 touchdowns, taken by the Indianapolis Colts in round 1 with the number 14 pick. And he is 4th on my list of the best rookies so far in this NFL season.
All righty. So my number 3, it's your boy. You love this guy. He got hurt, but before he got hurt,
I'd love to have him higher, but I'm with you.
Cam Scatterbo. So 4th round pick. He should have gone the 2nd round. We talked about this multiple times. We talked about in the draft. I had him as the 4th best running back in his class. Absolutely ridiculous that he fell because he didn't run a great 40. So what? But he runs people over. He can catch. He beat out Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy's played outstanding since Cam Scatterbo got hurt. Tracy was good as a rookie. The fact that he just took over the job should say a lot. But Cam Scatterbo before he got hurt was just awesome with that bad offensive line. So hopefully he's healthy next year. Great pick for the Giants. Number 3, Cam Scatterbo, running back.
All right, so I'm looking at our stuff here. We are, by the way, we follow over 7,800 people. The Lights Out Sports Podcast, number 1 right now with all of our ex-people. So we appreciate you guys making us number 1. Tyler Warren was my number 4 guy. I want this guy to be higher. Oh, and by the way, I couldn't do it because of how much he's been injured. Number 11 for me would have been Cam Scatterbo. I don't have him on this list.
Yeah, I just couldn't knock him down. He was so good before he got hurt.
I know. But my number 3 person, the guy whose name I love to say, Ibuka. It's Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 52 receptions, 791 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He was taken in for the 19th pick in round 1. I sang his praises for the entire draft. I wanted one of my 2 teams to take him. They never did. He goes to Tampa Bay, and he has shown, even though he was injured, man, that first part, when he broke onto the scene, Emeka Egbuka, we thought he was going to run away with Rookie of the Year until he got hurt. So I can't give him number 1 as much as I want to, so I gave him number 3, wide receiver, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka.
More on him now. My number 2 is Emeka Egbuka. In the first half, he was Rookie of the Year. He's been tremendous, great route runner. It's like he had instant chemistry with Baker Mayfield. And then when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin came back, it's like they haven't always been on the same page. His place dropped off a little, so I would have had him 1, so I dropped him to 2. But he's still tremendous after the catch. He's just such a good player. I don't know if he has Hall of Fame upside, probably not, but he's just going to be really good for many years. So yeah, number 2, Emeka Egbuka.
I'm sorry. What was the name?
Emeka Egbuka. But a lot of people have trouble with his name for some reason. A lot of people in the media, not important people like us, like those idiots.
No, absolutely not. By the way, just so everybody knows, we got some breaking news here. So the 2-game suspension for Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf has been upheld. He will miss the rest of the season.
And they better hope they beat the Browns, because if they don't and he misses the Ravens game, they blow the division. Now, I'll say this. The Ravens do play the Packers. If the Packers win, Steelers are in, no matter what. And Lamar Jackson, though, was a non-participant with a back injury at practice today. There's my breaking news.
All right, excellent. So I was kind of hoping you would have this guy before me so that you could help me with the pronunciation of his first name, because you know me and names.
I have him number 1.
Do you now?
Yes.
Okay, so I do not. I have him number 2. And the person that I have at number 1, you have not said his name.
I have no idea who it is.
Okay, well, you should know what team he's from.
Oh, no, of course I know what team he's from, but I can't think who you picked. But okay.
All right, so Mr. McMillan, wide receiver.
Tetero. Just Tetero. But you can call him Tet McMillan. That's a lot of people call him in the media.
Big T. That's what I'm going to Big T.
Arizona. That's your boy, Arizona Wildcat.
Yes, he was a former Arizona Wildcat, absolutely. Yeah. This year in the NFL, he's had 57 receptions for 826 yards, 6 touchdowns. He was taken with the 8th pick by those Carolina Panthers in the first round of the draft. He has made a huge difference for them and for Bryce Young. So I put him second, but I think there's a Cleveland Brown who we'll get to in just a moment who is better.
Yes, Tetero McMillan. He was a little inconsistent early in the year, but he just makes good plays. He's been making every game. He seems to make 1 or 2 huge plays to make the difference. It's why they're in first place in the division, and really, yeah, like I said, really came on of late. 6'5", 215, and he can separate. He's not just a possession receiver. He's been tremendous, and he has passed, in my opinion, he will win Rookie of the Year. He's passed Egbuka. So yeah, I have Tetero McMillan for the Panthers.
All right. So the guy who I've got at number 1, I just can't believe that you don't have him on this list.
Cleveland Brown?
A Cleveland Brown. And this guy...
Shedeur Sanders?
No, it is not Shedeur Sanders. And I'm sure that's what everybody was thinking he was going to do. They're like, oh my God, this retard's going to put Shedeur Sanders as the best rookie in the NFL right now. No,
I think, okay, I know you picked.
No, I'm not.
I know you.
106 tackles, 1.5 sacks. And what really got me to go this way, 2 interceptions on a terrible team. I know they have a pretty good defense, which is where he plays, but a terrible team. Here's this, too. I voted with my heart a little bit here as well, because he is a former walk-on at UCLA and is now the favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year. If you look at some different publications, he has speed. He's got the middle defensive look. He's just got everything as far as I'm concerned. Carson
Schlesinger.
Yes, that guy.
You mean the guy I had 7th on my list?
Oh, did you have him 7th on your list?
I did.
Well,
I talked all about him
over here.
I talked all about him.
Okay. Well, thanks, buddy. So, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what it is today. But,
he's a stud.
Better. Okay, we got to be better.
I talked about he's good blitzer. He's great instincts. He's always seems to make the tackle, and changed their front. Their front 7's been incredible all year. So I was really high on him. There was a rumor he'd go in the first round. There was all these drafting. I'll say, oh, he's going first round. He didn't. And the Browns had the first pick, the second round. They're like, okay, we'll take him. You're not going to take him. We'll take him.
All right. So give me your number 1 guy, buddy.
Okay. So I had a Marion Hampton running back Chargers at 10. Number 9, Will Johnson, corner Arizona Cardinals. 8, James Pierce Jr., edge rusher Falcons. 7, Carson Schlesinger, linebacker Browns. Number 6, also at Brown, Harold Fanning Jr., tight end. Number 5, Tyler Warren, tight end for the Colts. Number 4, Colston Lovin, tight end Bears. Number 3, Cam Scadaboo, running back Giants. Number 2, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver Tampa Bay. And number 1, Tetero McMillan, wide receiver Carolina Panthers.
All right. So we didn't do something here. I want to get to it real fast. That is, we had our poll question up on All Gloves Off SM. It was how many bowl season games have you watched at least one quarter of, not including the college playoff? We gave you 0 games, 1 to 4 games, 5 to 8, or more than 8 games. Cheese, where did you fall on this poll?
1 to 4 games was what I have watched.
Okay. So no one voted for 5 to 8 games. 6% of our viewing audience voted for more than 8 games. Good job, guys. You guys are dedicated to the college football play or to a college football game. That's fantastic. And then 1 to 4 games got 47%, and 0 games got 47%. So it's a little bit of a telltale here. You know, do we like the college bowl games? I usually love the college bowl games, but I have yet to watch one from start to finish, with the exception of the one that we did the watch along on, but I said not to include that there. So I would actually be in 0 games category, because I have yet to watch a quarter. I've watched some highlights, but I have yet to watch 1 quarter of any game so far of this year.
Boise State Washington was interesting. I don't know if you saw highlights of that game, but that was an interesting game.
It was an interesting game. At least it looked that way from the highlights. But yeah, I've just not gotten into it like I have in years past.
You're the bowl guy. You love the bowls. You got to get into it.
You're right. I usually watch a lot of them. I'm working a ton right at the moment. Haven't got a chance to do it.
Now, are you going to get to watch? Are you going to be able to? Are you off Christmas? Are you able to? Are you working Christmas Day?
So I'm working even day both. And here's the way I look at it. You know, my kids are grown and out of the house and all that kind of thing. So I want to work so that the people who do have kids can be at home with their families. So not that I'm trying to get any kind of sympathy vote or anything.
No, that's pretty admirable. That's admirable. Yeah. You'll miss all the terrible NFL games on Christmas Day, because they're really not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to work 8 hours.
The Chiefs Broncos sounded amazing before the year, and now it's terrible.
Right? You know, Netflix has got to be just, there.
Well, that's the prime game, but it's like a 14-point spread. So, yeah.
Well, all those games were supposed to be at least with competitive teams, and now most of them are not, with the exception of maybe Detroit. So,
yeah, Detroit, at least Detroit's fighting for something, but still, Minnesota's out of it. It's those games end up being they're a disaster. I mean, Cowboys and Commanders are both out of the playoffs. It's terrible. So
yeah,
but I'm going to watch all 3.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
sir.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you on this edition of the Lights Out Sports Podcast on Christmas Eve with Emeka and everything else with us. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys for making us part of your day. I know a lot of you, I've heard from you guys, you kind of split us up and you listen to us within 2 or 3 days, or you split up the segments, and one day you'll listen to the NFL, one day you'll listen to college football, the other one you listen to MLB. We don't care how you listen, just continue to do so on Spotify, on Apple, on X, on YouTube, on all kinds of different stuff. You'll hear within the next few hours, you will be able to go to our site on at All Gloves Off SM on our X. We'll have a link tree up there where it'll give all of our links to all of our stuff. And the reason why we haven't done it yet is because there's a lot of stuff. You'll be surprised. There's tons and tons of stuff. So thank you guys for absorbing us and the All Gloves Off Sports Media platform. We appreciate it. We're going to add some more people. We're going to add some new stuff. We're going to get some great sponsors. But we don't need to do all of that because we got Cheese right here, buddy. How do you want to conclude today's broadcast, Cheese?
I want to get Pepperidge Farm to sponsor us so I can say Pepperidge Farm, Pepperidge Farm. That's what I want. But yeah, you can find me at Football with Cheese on YouTube, Football with Cheese, CAGEZ. I have my last 2 videos are about why Matt LaFleur sucks as a head coach of Green Bay Packers. And then also I have my thoughts on the DK Metcalf suspension. So make sure you go to my channel and check those out.
All right. Fantastic. We will certainly do that. And as we do every single week, we tell you that the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all very much.
Merry Christmas or Bah Humbug.